Hello and welcome to Honeoye Falls-Lima High School. Earlier this week was the first day of fall, and this weekend the HFL Cougars are celebrating homecoming weekend, fall weekend. We just had the parade through the four corners of the village of Honeoye Falls, and now we're ready for some high school football between the visiting Geneva Panthers and the home HFL Cougars. The battle of unbeatens, both teams 3-0. I'm Peter Carosa, as always, joined alongside Steve Bradley for today's Section 5 Class B football matchup. Steve, what are your thoughts here today?
Peter, I'm excited. As you mentioned, we have two 3-0 teams coming into the game. HFL off to a great start, outscoring opponents 131-20. And Geneva, Peter, is a team that came into this season on an 11-game losing streak, and they started the season with 3 straight wins. So certainly a team that's catching the attention of others across Section 5.
So as the Cougars take their spot on the south end zone, we'll talk about the keys to the game, brought to you by Bullfinch Fund. First key to today's game, Battle of Unbeatens. I mentioned it there at the top of the broadcast. Both teams 3-0. It's one of, I believe, 5 games this weekend of Section 5 undefeated teams. So obviously only one team is going to come out of here with the dub, and it's certainly going to start to give us a sense of how these standings are going to sort themselves out as we continue through this 2022 season. Absolutely,
and if you look at the first 3 opponents, Peter, for Geneva, they had a win, Wayland Cohocton in week 2, Newark Marion, and I believe their opening week win was against, they walked it off against, not quite sure, but it was
Livonia.
Livonia, that's right. So, yeah, 3 wins for them. I think HFL will be a step up in class in terms of the quality of opponents. And for the Cougars, I think you just want to keep doing the things that you've been doing through the first 3 games. Coach Russ talks all the time about getting better every day, improving every day. And I really think that's going to be the theme for the Cougars today. Then key number 2, Peter, mistake-free football. Both teams have really benefited from the turnover battle. HFL has 8 takeaways so far this season. Geneva has 10. So when you take the ball away, you set up extra possessions, and both teams have been very opportunistic. The team that takes care of the ball the best today will probably come out of here with a win.
And the third and final key of tonight's game, or rather this afternoon's game, is Mr. Smith goes back in the lineup. That's referring to, of course, Nolan Smith, senior wide receiver for HFL. He missed the first 3 games of the regular season, but he'll be back in the lineup tonight. Or keep saying tonight.
Tonight, this afternoon.
But rather, he'll be on a pitch count, so we'll probably see him limitedly out there on the field. I'd be surprised if we see him playing any defense, but it'll be interesting to see what sort of impact he has. We've been delighted to see the relationship and the connectivity between Matt Meacham and Andrew Wazenreed through the first 3 games, and we'll have to see what sort of role Nolan Smith will have in this HFL offense. So we're just waiting for the 2 teams to be announced here at HFL. You can see we're just under 3 minutes here to kickoff.
And Peter, just to build on your point about Nolan Smith, he was a starter for the last 2 seasons, so he's been a big contributor to a couple of successful teams. He's a big target, 6 foot 6 inches tall, 200 pounds. And you mentioned this early success of Andrew Wazenreed, but also Alex Steinhoff. So the more options the Cougars have, that's more opponents will have to prepare for down the road. So really looking forward to seeing Nolan back today.
So here come the Geneva Panthers, as we mentioned, undefeated, and their program has a bit of a resurgence here this season. I believe that coming into this season they had lost their last 11, and now they've won their last 3. So we had a chance to sit down with the head coach of Geneva. Steve, what was your first impression of Coach
Larry Guerreri? Yeah, I think that he's a guy that's invested in the program, invested in the community. He's been involved in Geneva football since he graduated from DeSales High School in Geneva. It's since closed, but he's been a long-time leader in the youth football program, been involved with several semi-pro teams, and he's coached a lot of these players on the team since they were youth. So that's somebody that's in there that knows the players, knows the team. And he kind of talked to us about having a 5-year plan, Peter, to get things established and get things turned around. Geneva did win a state title in 2006, but that's a long time ago.
Yeah, this will certainly be a test for these Panthers. Looking at some of the other teams that they've faced thus far, they have a collective 2 wins. So talking with their coach, he knew that they're gonna be tested here today, and this will certainly be a litmus test for them as to how they stack up to some of the perennial Class B contenders. So
yeah, he told us a great story. He said he went to the HFL Palmac game last Saturday, actually sat in the stands alongside the HFL parents, and at one point he turned to some of the parents and said, you've got what I want. And I think he's trying to lay the foundation, and we know that Coach Ross and Coach Briggs at Batavia and Coach Marine and Wayne have spent the time building the program, and I think that's what Coach Guerreri is trying to do in Geneva.
So we will have the national anthem sung here at Honeoye Falls-Lima. You're looking live at James Dollard Athletic Stadium. It'll be sung, it'll be a recording by the Honeoye Falls-Lima Select Choir.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
And with that, we are just about ready for the coin flip here at Honeoye Falls-Lima.
And some special guests today, Peter, joining us for the coin toss. The new inductees into the Honeoye Falls-Lima Athletic Hall of Fame. First off is Walford E. Wally Anderson, Jr. He's a member of the Honeoye Falls High School class of 1963. Michael Battle, HFL graduate, class of 1996. And Deborah Gagne Smith, HFL class of 1973. Karen Krupp-Tremer, Lima High School class of 1969. And Dana Loher Doyle, class of 1991. So five new members into the class. And homecoming, Peter, always such a special weekend, and blessed with that kind of feeling of fall in the air. Woke up this morning, wasn't sure whether it was a shorts day or a long pants day. But, you get that feeling. You got the sunshine, and it's just a perfect afternoon here for football.
Yeah, special shout out to Deb Smith. That's a Mendon-Honeoye Falls-Lima Sentinel writer, her and her husband.
Her husband, Tim. And she's also been a high school cheerleading advisor. Oh, this is the nomination from her high school cheerleading advisor, Carol Vahey, writes, Debbie's contributions to our community support the true meaning of this committee to bring back knowledge and support for the school and the community.
So here we have the captains out for the two teams. For the Cougars, Carson Joint, Ryan Gary, Colton Miller, and Donnell Hall. For Geneva, number 68, that's Tyler Maples. And I can't catch the other three. Looks like number 1, that's Anthony Torres. And there's two others, number 64, Dakota Bajas, and
Connor Guerreri, number 5. So
those are the captains for the two teams.
And we see the officials at midfield right now. Peter, our referee today is Jay Considine. Our umpire, Peter Lagaris. Our linesman is Paul Bishoping. The line judge is Chris Green, and the back judge is Brian Labigan. And we always like to mention one other thing, too. We played the select choir singing the national anthem a great job in-house by 3 members of the select choir, David Teller, Megan Frame, and Nick Boggio, singing the anthem live for the crowd here today.
And this kickoff brought to you by Alexander Enterprises. Alexander Enterprises specialize in home remodeling, renovations, additions, kitchens, bathrooms, garages, new builds, decks, and painting. Give them a call before you start your next project at 624-9120.
And interesting here, Cougars will get the ball first. We were going to have Andrew Wanzenreed and Donnell Hall back deep to receive. And Cougars looking to continue that fast start they've gotten in games, build that early lead and make Geneva chase them. Geneva, of course, look to force a 3-and-out or a turnover and, kind of flip the table.
So I didn't think it was too windy, but it looks like the wind has blown the ball off the tee here for the starting kickoff.
Colin Wiles will kick off for the Panthers. And we're ready for Section 5 football.
So this is the senior Colin Wiles kicking off, and that's a live football. Cougars are able to recover. It didn't go 10 yards, but the Cougars were the first to touch it. They luckily fall on that one. That's number 24 for HFL, Grant Larson. Johnny on the spot there for the Cougars. So here we go to look at the player to watch here for this Cougar offense. Brought to you by Alexander Enterprises.
And it's great field position here, too, Peter, for HFL, getting the ball in plus territory, starting on the Geneva 47.
So here we go, 1st and 10 for the Cougars. We'll take a look at that player to watch after this, as it's a handoff to Donnell Hall to the far side, and he'll get upended at the 45-yard line, gain of 2 for HFL. Now let's take a look at that offensive player to watch here for the Cougars. It's number 1, Ben Cook. He had quite a performance last week at Palmac. You can see his season rushing stats there. He'll be the workhorse for this Cougar offense.
4 touchdowns on the ground last week. Big day for Ben. And as a power runner, he really has provided a lot for the HFL attack.
So 2nd and 10, we have a swing pass out to the near side here. This is number 9 for the Cougars, Colton Miller. He'll get up and he'll get enough for the first down, so that'll move the chains. That first down, of course, brought to you by HFMP. Treat yourself tomorrow or today and every Saturday with a slow-roasted prime rib dinner and all the fixins from HFMP for only $18.99 each.
Nice play there by the Cougars. An easy first pitch and catch for Matt Meacham. Drives alive inside the 35 of Geneva.
So after that first down pass play, it's a handoff to Cook. That's our player to watch. He'll fall ahead forward for about 3 yards.
And Cook definitely caught the attention of the Geneva defense. The man making the tackle there is number 34, Daniel Carter. Daniel Carter happens to be the Class B Player of the Week. He had a huge game last week against Marion Newark with 8 tackles, 2 assists, and he had a touchdown on a punt return and an interception return for a touchdown.
And there's a look at the starting lineup of the offensive line for this HFL offense, brought to you by Alexander Enterprises. We have a pass play out to Nolan Smith. One-handed catch wide open, and he's going to cruise into the end zone. So we talked about at the top of the broadcast how Nolan Smith would be involved. Well, there's our answer.
Yeah, what kind of impact is Nolan Smith going to make? How about a 34-yard touchdown catch the first time he touches the ball? What a great start for the Cougars. And here we go with the replay, Peter. We're going to get the point after first.
So we'll take a look at that replay in a second. Nolan Smith finding the Meehan Architecture end zone. So here comes Trent Wagger out for the Cougars to attempt the point after. Joint the snap, Meacham the hold. The kick is a line drive. We had a pre-snap penalty. Looks like it might be called against Geneva. Here's the call. Yes, it is defensive encroachment. So we'll see if the Cougars elect to change the strategy. Looks like I see coaching staff calling for 2. So the offense will sub back out on the field, and the Cougars will try and make this a 8-point game to start us off.
Yeah, just the best kind of start that HFL could have happened. There was a short kickoff. You start in plus territory. 4 plays later, you get deep ball down the far sideline to Nolan Smith, makes a spectacular catch, walks into the end zone, and now you've got a chance to go up 8-0 here with the shortened PHE try.
So here come the Cougars with a 2 running back set, both Cook and Donahoe in the backfield. Meacham from the gun. And we have another pre-snap motion, and it's going to be another penalty flag. So are they moving this ball half the distance again? Looks like they do. If we have time, we could try and show the touchdown replay. And here's a look at it. It was a nice 30-yard strike to Nolan Smith. Concentration to bring that one in, and then hustle in to the Meehan Architecture end zone. So the Cougars come lined up again from the gun. This time it's a single running back formation with Donahoe shifting to Meacham's left. So for the 2-point try for the Cougars, it's going to be a handoff to Donahoe, and he's going to get into the end zone. So the Cougars now out 8-0 over the visiting Geneva Panthers.
And just a basic power run right ahead there. Get Patrick Donahoe in for the 2-point conversion. And great push again by the Cougars offensive line. They had a great day last weekend at Palmyra Macedon, and they're off to a good start here today. Got to call out number 52 there for a nice block around the corner. That's Austin Krigo.
So this kickoff brought to you by Alexander Enterprises. Alexander Enterprises specialize in home remodeling, renovations, additions, kitchens, bathrooms, garages, new builds, decks, and painting. Give them a call before you start your next project at 624-9120. So the Cougar kicking unit now on the field for the first time today.
And Peter, fans watching might notice the HFL coaching staff, some of the players wearing pink today. It's not quite Breast Cancer Awareness Month in October, but this is part of the Real Men Wear Pink campaign. Big thing here in Honeoye Falls-Lima District, and coach is proud to be wearing pink today.
So Trent Wagger has it teed up here for HFL. They'll be kicking it deep to Geneva, and they've got a couple of good returners back there. And end-over-end kick is going to be fielded.
I think it's number 8.
Yeah, I believe that's Kadir Lawson. So out trots the Geneva offense. We'll take a quick look at the player to watch on this HFL defense. It's the defensive end, Jack Harvey.
Yep, number 61, Jack Harvey. When we were talking to Coach Russ during our pregame prep, Geneva has a lot of playmakers, probably 5 really dangerous playmakers on its offense. The defensive ends are going to have to be very disciplined today so that they stay at home and they don't allow broken plays to turn into big plays, and they're able just to handle their responsibilities.
So here's Geneva's first offensive play. It's going to be a pass play that's going to develop into a run play, and that's number...
That's Krigo again.
Yep, number 52 for HFL.
Austin Krigo, 6'1", 225-pound lineman, did a great job reading that play. It looked like Dota Torres was originally going to pass, and then he looked around and tucked the ball away, but he wasn't getting away from Krigo on that one. And Anthony Torres, his nickname is Dota. Coach Guerreri said he's coached him and known him since he was 10 years old. They have a great connection. Sometimes he even allows Torres to call his own plays and audible at the line, and he just trusts him. And that time HFL was there to make the play on the first play.
So the first down play for Geneva goes the wrong direction. So on 2nd and 14, they'll look to try and get some of that back. Ball is on the carpet.
HFL's got it.
And that's a recovery.
Is it?
Looks like number 58 for the HFL defense. That's Cooper Levine falling on the ball. So the Cougars will take over in great starting field position.
So it's a bad snap here. It's on the ground. Torres just tries to fall on it. The ball squirts away. And a great job. Levine kind of crawled over the top of him, fell on the football. And HFL is going to start in Geneva territory again, right at the 23-yard line. And there's our first turnover of the game, one of our keys.
So let's take a look at the rest of the starting offense here for the Cougars, brought to you by Alexander Enterprises. Here's the specialty skill players. So Cougars 1st and 10 at the 25-yard line. Man in motion, number 8. And here's a pass play looking over the middle in the direction of Donnell Hall. He tripped up on that one, so it falls incomplete.
Yep, and right back to the passing game. Hall splits through 2 defenders. Actually good bracketed coverage there by Geneva. Slowed him down a little bit, unable to make his cut and get to the ball. And when we talked to Coach Guerreri, he had a one-word answer when we asked him what impressed him about HFL. He said everything. And then when we asked him to build on it a little bit, he talked about the defensive line. And the defensive line on that first Geneva possession, 2 big plays, including the turnover.
So 2nd and 10 for HFL. They have a 3-receiver bunch to the bottom of the screen. Pass play. Meacham stepped up. Going to be dropped and sacked by number 34.
That's Daniel Carter. That's the reigning Class B Defensive Player of the Week. That was a great job. Great push by Geneva. Carter comes up the middle from his linebacker position. Meacham tried to step into the pocket. Wasn't there. Carter finished him off, but also good initial pressure there by number 24, Kareem Guillory.
So 3rd and call it 17 here for the HFL offense, trying to cash in after the Geneva turnover. And here's the snap. It's a screen to the near side. This is Andrew Wazenreed. He's going to be knocked out of bounds at about the 21-yard line. It's going to be just short of the first down marker.
Well, that's a great play, though. On 3rd and 17, the Cougars got more than half of it back. So now when looks like the Coach Russ is going to come out and go for it on 4th down, it's half as much work. They got half of the job done there. They execute this play, they can keep it rolling.
So they make it a more manageable 4th down, 4th and 6, as you said, Steve. So trips to the far side, Meacham from the gun, Cook to his right. He's going to step back and pass, throw over, and it's intercepted. Intercepted going the other way. This is Meacham's first pick of the season, and it looks like it might go to the house. This is number 8. Kadir Lawson is going to be just tackled inside the 5-yard line. So a huge turnover and return there by the Panthers. And we were talking about it, mistake-free football at the top of the broadcast. Both team now with a turnover. We do have a flag out on the field. I believe it was on the run back.
It was, but Lawson with a huge play for that Geneva defense to get the stop and flip the field position. The flag is about the 46, 47-yard line of HFL, so even if that's a hold, the back's at 10 or an illegal block 15 yards, the Panthers are going to have the ball. They kept the Cougars off the scoreboard, and that's a big momentum shift.
So let's take a look at that replay here while the refs sort it out. You can see just the pass was telegraphed there by Lawson, and he had some blockers in front of him. Good job, though, by Meacham to track him down and prevent him from scoring. And it looks like we're just waiting to receive word from the officials. It's going to be a block in the back. So that's, I believe, is a spot foul.
Yep, I think it's going to cost them 10 yards.
Looks like we have an unsportsmanlike as well called against Geneva, so that run back is going to be pretty much wiped off the board. The Panthers will still have possession of the ball, but they're going to be now starting at their own 28-yard line, so it's essentially as if that was an incomplete pass, turnover on downs.
It's a huge break for the Cougars right there. That they were facing a potential as soon as Lawson made that play. We thought he might take it to the house. Great hustle by Matt Meacham to keep him out of the end zone. And those 2 infractions, as you said, Peter, basically it was like the Cougars lost 5 yards on that 4th down play and turned the ball over.
So Geneva takes their first timeout here to talk things over. This timeout brought to you by Bullfinch Fund. Fans who are sitting on IRA money that they don't know what to do with, or those who want to take control of their 401k money left at an old employer, should give Bullfinch a call at 624-3150. Bullfinch Fund. Invest right here. Do you know a working teenager can become a retirement millionaire just by starting a child IRA? Want to learn more? Call your local mutual fund, the Bullfinch Fund, at 624-3150. Bullfinch Fund. Invest right here.
Peter, I think we got the Section 5 game of the day here. We got Democrat and Chronicle representatives, Tina McIntyre-Yee, Bob Chavez. See Primetime 585 in the house.
And the Sentinel's own Donna McKenzie on the sideline. So I think we got representation from just about all the major players in the...
Maybe even A.J. Feldman. Wow. It's like a who's who down here today. So now we'll see how the HFL defense responds. They had a great opening series. Peter got great push from the defensive line. The Cougars have done a good job all season taking care of the ball. The giveaway there, how do they respond?
So after the interception, here's the first play. It's going to be a run play by Torres. Torres going to be bottled up after a minimal gain. He'll get 3 yards. So it'll bring up 2nd and 7 for the Panthers.
Yeah, but I think what we're going to see here is a good job by Alex Steinhoff. He got his initial block, and then Carson Joint, Andrew Wanzenreed, and then Steinhoff comes back to make the play. Good job of the Cougar defense of rallying to the ball.
So on 2nd and 7, we have trips to the far side for the Panther offense. Torres rolls out to his left, looks to throw, and that's going to be incomplete.
And when we talked to Coach Russ in the pregame, two of the things actually we're seeing that impressed him about Geneva, the size of their line up front. The Panthers have some big blockers up there, and the multiple formations. He says that what Geneva, with their formations and their offense, force the defense to prepare for them on both sides of the ball because they like to run and they like to pass, and they can find success both ways. Kind of sounds like HFL. They give the other teams a lot to prepare for too.
So 3rd and 7 for Geneva. We'll see what they have planned out here, if they can convert at about their own 31-yard line. Here's the snap. Torres throws to the near side. That's number 20, who's going to be dropped immediately.
Andrew Wanzenreed came up from his cornerback spot, made that tackle in the open space, forced the 4th down. Caught by Jalen Laranville.
So Laranville unable to get any gain there, so it'll bring up 4th and 7 here.
Cougar defense actually had him surrounded with 3 players, and Coach Russ, is one of the things that's impressed him the most about his team and its 3-0 start is his players' ability to do their assignments and be in the right place at the right time. And you saw that there. A player caught the ball in open space. He had nowhere to go.
So we have the officials huddled up here. Not quite sure. I didn't see a flag thrown. It looks like we're going to get a sideline warning against Geneva. I think it's just a warning, so there's going to be no sort of infraction assessed, but that looked to be the call.
It did, and it was interesting because that was on the far side of the field. All the action was over here, and you think if there was a sideline warning with maybe people being too close, it would have been on the HFL side because that's where the play was and the tackle made. And as you know, you and I both know, anybody on the sideline for a football game needs to be paying attention. But Coach Guerreri expressing his opinion on the call.
So after the long-winded conversation between the coach and the referee, it will bring up 4th and 7, I believe, as the head ref jogs back over to the near sideline. So in punt formation for Geneva.
It's Kadir Lawson, number 8.
And here's the punt. Looked
Blocked.
like it might have been blocked, and the Cougars are able to catch it in the air. That's number 8, Alex Steinhoff for the Cougars. We do have a flag.
That's interesting, though, because Ryan Geary, number 50, got in, and we thought it was blocked, but the flag came down after he made contact with the kicker. If you make contact with the ball, that penalty is nullified, but the flag was thrown. So it's interesting. Let's see if he gets it.
Take a look here. It's hard to tell if he did. I mean, if he did, it was maybe fingertips. So it's going to come down to the judgment of the officials, and based on, well, I'm seeing 2 different types of HFL reactions. I saw one.
Well, they're moving the ball. I see the umpire with the football going out to the 45-yard line, so I think that it's going to be Geneva keeping going.
And it's a roughing the kicker penalty, so that's 15 yards. So that will move the ball all the way out to the Geneva 46-yard line. So the Panthers offense able to stay on the field after the HFL mistake.
That's a tough one, Peter, because you want to put pressure on the punter. Gary was right in on top of him, and the punt didn't go very far. So usually there's a sound, though, and maybe that's what the official was looking to hear, the sound. But given the trajectory and the distance of the ball, hard to believe that maybe it wasn't touched at all.
So on 1st and 10, it's going to be a handoff to Lawson, who's going to be dropped in the backfield. He'll lose 2 on 1st down.
Yeah, a veritable host of Cougar defenders right there. Ben Cook, number 1, right at the bottom from his defensive tackle position. The Cougars are doing a great job getting low and getting penetration on the Geneva line. What did you see on that punt? I mean, it was really, you can't tell, right?
From our angle, unfortunately we don't have like a reverse or an angle from the backside of the punter, but
Or the frame by frame, right? It's really hard to tell.
if he did block it, it was just the absolute fingertips, and even, the short punt might have been just a reaction
to all the pressure.
to the pressure. So in any case, Panthers 2nd and 12. Pass play, Torres looking, loads up, throws over the middle, and it's going to be dropped by number 5, Connor Guerrieri. That could have been almost a first down if he could have hauled that in.
Guerrieri comes out of the backfield, runs a nice wheel route there, lost his footing on the cut a little bit, had to adjust to the ball, and was unable to haul it in.
So now 3rd and 12 for Geneva.
And for those curious, Connor Guerrieri is the son of Coach Larry Guerrieri. He is he's a junior, I believe, 5'4", 132 pounds, on the field a lot, both two-way starter at running back and in the defensive backfield.
So just over 6 minutes in the first quarter. Another critical 3rd down for Geneva. Trying to keep the offense on the field. They trail HFL 8-0.
And I think it's going to be a timeout, Geneva.
So another timeout for the Panthers. That's their second of the first half. This timeout, of course, brought to you by Bullfinch Fund. Bullfinch Fund, fans who are sitting in IRA money that they don't know what to do with, or those who want to take control of their 401k money left at an old employer, should give Bullfinch a call at 624-3150. Bullfinch Fund, invest right. Invest right here. Did you know a working teenager can become a retirement millionaire just by starting a child IRA? Want to learn more? Call your local mutual fund, the Bullfinch Fund, at 624-3150. Bullfinch Fund, invest right here.
So the key play here, Peter, HFL with a great start on the initial drive was able to get both teams forced turnovers on the subsequent drives, and now this is really a key for Geneva. We saw that the first punt wasn't really executed great, and if they can force another punt here, could set the Cougars up to take that 2-score lead and get a little bit of comfort. Geneva's able to convert this and grind it out. We might have ourselves a ball game.
And I'd like to see Torres, I think, operate outside the pocket here. Get him on the run. Maybe try and get HFL to try and run up and make a play. Have some wide receivers or a running back running across the field and try and get some yards after the catch. It's 12 yards they're going to need to convert this 3rd down. So from the shotgun, Torres is going to hand off. Some nice blocking, and that's going to be a first down and more by Lawson, and he's going to be tackled inside the HFL 35-yard line. First down run there by Kadir Lawson for the Panthers.
Lawson has been big plays on both sides of the ball. Great blocking there. Geneva, he had a lane, wasn't even touched until he got far down to the 3rd level. Wanzen Reed is finally able to bring him down at the 35-yard line just inside. So that's exactly the play Geneva was looking for. Nice run on 3rd down.
So after the big 3rd down conversion, they give it right back to Lawson. Reverses field, comes back, bowling through a couple different HFL defenders, and he'll be tackled at about the 25-yard line.
Another great run by Lawson here. He's got the blockers in front. The HFL defense initially does a good job, but the cutback, he's able to find a seam, push forward for 5-6 yards, and keeps grinding his legs and fell forward right next to the first down marker, gets 2nd and 2.
Now Lawson listed as a wide receiver, but he does have the 2nd most carries behind Torres. Got 2 touchdowns on the season as Torres holds it himself, and he'll get up past the first down marker inside the 20-yard line, and the Panthers find themselves in the red zone here today.
And this offense is starting to find a rhythm, Peter. Lawson, with some good ball handling there, is able to pull it out, turns back to the sideline, and grinds it out for another first down. So that penalty is starting to look like it was pretty important.
So 1st and 10 here for Geneva. They like to go with this loaded backfield here, and it's going to be a handoff.
Connor Guerrieri. HFL defense did a nice job stepping up there. You've got 56, Carson Joint, the middle linebacker, right there to meet him along the line of scrimmage. Good push by the defensive line. And there's the answer on first down that HFL was looking for. going back to Lawson, Peter, don't be surprised if we see him in a Wildcat at some time today. He had a 42-yard touchdown run out of the Wildcat last weekend against Newark Marion.
I believe there's 3 or 4 different players that have attempted passes for this Geneva offense, as Torres passing out in the direction towards Xavier Praler, and that's going to fall incomplete.
And Praler's been a big playmaker for them, too, the 6'2", 160-pound sophomore. Ball was a little behind him. I think he kind of looked to see if he heard footsteps. Didn't have the blocking in front of him. If he caught that, he was going to need to make a man miss in order to make a play.
So 3rd and 8 here. And Torres is going to keep it. And he's going to be wrapped up and dropped.
Nice job there by Jack Harvey. I think he's the man on the bottom, the defensive end. If we watch him, Torres holds the ball, gets low. Harvey steps up, goes low for the first tackle, and then Ryan Gary and a couple others come to finish off Torres. So here we are, 4th down and 8, and definitely a go-for-it situation here for the Panthers.
So the Panthers taking their time here to call in the play.
They brought Daniel Carter into the backfield, probably as a lead blocker.
It's going to be a design quarterback power run towards the far side. Torres tries to cut up, gets knocked out of bounds, short of the line to gain. So it'll be a turnover on downs. The Cougar offense will take over, and Geneva comes away with no points.
Good job there. The Cougar defense of extending the play, stringing it out. I think Carson Joint is the one that gets there and forces Torres to turn up, and he just ran out of real estate on the far sideline. So after the penalty extended the drive, the roughing the kicker, Cougars gave up a couple of first downs, but ultimately were able to keep Geneva out of the end zone.
And for the Panthers, they got to feel pretty good. Yeah, that drive didn't result in points, but they've been probably the best team that we've seen so far move the ball down the field against this HFL defense, as we have a big first down run play. That's number 0, Donnell Hall. We had a chance to talk with head coach John Russ before this game. We asked about the usage of Hall and how we the two of us expected it to be a little higher at this point through 3 games, and he said Hall was somebody that they were looking to get more involved. The game plans of the first 3 games just didn't allow for it, and Hall with a big first down carry. That first down, of course, brought to you by HFMP. Make every day a little bit more special with the Stonewall Kitchen collection of brands available at HFMP. So the first down play here is a run play. This is to Donahoe, and he's just pulling a pair of Geneva Panthers up past the first down. It'll be another Cougar first down, again brought to you by HFMP. Haddock delivered from the Boston Fish Pier every week, making HFMP's Friday fish fry with 2 sides and fries all the more delicious.
And I think what we're seeing here, Peter, right? Last week, Ben Cook was the featured running back for HFL. He's the power back in the middle. We saw Hall on a jet sweep. That makes you defend differently. Then you counter that with Donahoe again. 3 different styles of running for those running backs.
And they go right back here. Running is Donnell Hall, and he's going to be, looks like he might have lost the football.
I think they're going to call him down, Peter. The ball did come out, but oh no, they're giving. Geneva reaction says
yes, it is a turnover. So the Cougars, with their second turnover on the day,
big gain. We have the opportunity here to take a second look. A great hole there for Hall. Cuts right up the middle. Breaks down. He's going down. The ball's behind him, and he's right there. I think it's probably going to be a good call.
So again, we talked about how these defenses just generate turnovers coming into the day. The Panthers have generated 10 turnovers, and they've already generated 2 today
in the first quarter. And the Cougars have won. Now, what you got to look at here, the Cougars' defense was on the field for a long drive, probably 7-8 plays. They're right back out there after 3. And is Geneva going to keep pounding the ball and try and wear them down?
And here's a handoff to Daniel Carter. He's going to get right about back to the line of scrimmage. Maybe a couple inches on that first down carry.
First carry today for Carter. Coach Guerreri said his brother was actually watching the tape of the Newark game, watched Carter run, and said he reminded him of John Riggins from the 1980 Redskins, just a power back who doesn't mess around.
So here's Torres, keeps it, able to make a man miss, makes his way out towards the sideline. backtracks a bit, so I think he's going to end up maybe wiping out any sort of gain depending on the spot.
So Steinhoff is the first one there, does a good job reading the play. Isn't able to make the tackle, but he is able to slow Torres down enough where Carson Joint, first time this year, Carson Joint's able to come over and finish off the play. So they didn't get the initial tackle, but because the play was extended, HFL was still able to make a positive play and have Geneva lose yards.
And so the spot ends up actually giving Geneva about, we'll call it 1 yard, so it'll be 3rd and 9 here for the Panthers. Just about 1 minute left to go in the first quarter. Cougars leading 8-0 over the visiting Panthers. So on 3rd and 9, Torres is going to whip it out to the far side line, and that's going to be hauled in by Xavier Praler. He's going to be about a yard short of the first down.
Donnell Hall on the coverage. Nice job getting the ball into Praler, secures it, turns up, and he's just about maybe, like you said, a yard short. I expect Torres to go right forward here.
So Torres rolls out to his left, and he's going to be right at the yard stick. We'll have to see the spot. Far side official got taken out. It looked like it was initially potentially a quarterback sneak, but the play broke down, and Torres, with his athleticism, was able to roll out there. I think he's got it from our view. And there's the signal from the officials, so that'll bring up another new set of downs for the Geneva offense.
And Geneva, these last two drives, Peter, has found its rhythm a little bit, has been doing a good job holding on the football and just making positive plays. Donnell Hall and Ryan Gary made a good play there. It's just hard to limit a player to less than a yard there, and good thing the official's up and okay.
So 26 seconds left to go in the first quarter. Clock is stopped. 1st and 10 for Geneva. Torres from the gun. Going to look to throw it. Passes it out towards number 20. And he's going to get up past midfield. That's Jalen Loranville, excuse me.
Yep, and a good positive 7-yard play on first down. The HFL defensive line got some penetration, moved upfield, be able to throw it over the top in between, and a good play for the Panthers.
And that'll be the last play of this first quarter. We'll take a quick commercial timeout.
Honeoye Falls Marketplace. Fresh breads, donuts, special cakes made every day from scratch. Our butcher still cuts your meats to order. Doesn't get any better than that. Hot pizza, fish fries on Friday. Order your favorite sub right here. Organic foods and healthy choices. Honeoye Falls Marketplace. We're true blue, local, uncompromised, quality close to home.
Today's game also brought to you by Alexander Enterprises. For nearly 30 years, Alexander Enterprises has been one of Rochester's most trusted contractors. They specialize in home remodeling, renovations, additions, kitchens, bathrooms, garages, new builds, decks, and painting. Give Todd and the folks at Alexander Enterprises a call before you start your next project at 624-9120. Also, Bullfinch Fund. Fans who are sitting on IRA money that they don't know what to do with, or those who want to take control of their 401k money left at an old employer, should give Bullfinch a call at 624-3150. Bullfinch Fund. Invest right here. And also, Meehan Architecture. With the Meehan Architecture Sports Update, quick look at some of the other varsity athletics here at HFL. The girls' soccer team is off to a 6-2 start with their leading scorers Maria Karapides and Elizabeth Woloshuk. The Cougars are hosting the Batavia Blue Devils tonight at 6 p.m. And for boys soccer, they picked up their first win of the season against Batavia last night. The Cougars scored 5 goals by Nolan Dudley, Mathuk, and Olin Smith. So with that, we are ready to start this second quarter here at HFL. Going to be second and 2, for the Panthers.
Trips here to the near side. Peter Torres going to throw.
Here's Torres looking up, loading up top, throws it deep, and it's going to be intercepted. This is Andrew Wazenreed for the Cougars going the other way. And he's going to be up past midfield and then tackled. So now both offenses have giveaways.
Yes, they do, and that's the turnover that the defense needed. You could tell Torres was there. Good pressure by Jack Harvey. Forces Torres up into the pocket. He throws a little bit. Wanzenreed comes off his man, intercepts it at the 28, makes a nice 25-yard return, so the Cougars will be in business in Geneva territory. It's good for the Cougars to be tested like this and see and have to come up with plays when they need to make them, because that hasn't been the case in the first 3 games. Now we're seeing how they respond to a little bit of adversity.
So the Cougar defense finally finds its way off the field. Here's Meacham from the shotgun. Looks like Donahoe is the running back to his right. Trips to the near sideline. Going to be a pitch to Donahoe. He's going to have to make the first man miss in the backfield and lower his shoulder and cruise to the 41-yard line. So a nice pickup there on the ground on first down for HFL.
Great call by you, Peter, right out of the chute. There's good pressure there by number 24 from the Geneva defense. Kareem Guillory had the penetration. Donahoe was able to make that move, cut up field, and get 7 yards.
So Donahoe averaging 8.4 yards coming into today's game.
And I think what we were starting to see on the last drive is the HFL running game on full display. With we haven't seen much of Ben Cook today, and maybe that's because we saw so much of him last week that the mix is there. And we knew that coming in, Coach Guerreri was stopping Ben Cook and stopping Matt Meacham were 2 of his big priorities. And now the Cougars are showing the likes of Nolan Smith and Donnell Hall and Patrick Donahoe. So when you have a lot of weapons, it's nice to be able to move the ball around and keep the defense off balance.
So the hard count there by Meacham is able to draw the defensive encroachment. It'll bring up a new set of downs. Here's the handoff to Donahoe. Donahoe straight up the middle. And he's going to get good yardage again on a first down carry. Going to be short of the first down, the previous first down. Of course, brought to you by Honeoye Falls Marketplace. And here's a look at that run there by Donahoe. And Daniel Carter rips him to the ground.
And Ben Cook was kind of the lead blocker there. Ben Cook at 6'1", 205, giving the Cougars a little bit of extra muscle to clear that path. Second and 3, the Cougars will take that all day. Might be time to go over the top here, Peter.
So doubles for the Cougars, going to be a pump fake and loading up towards Donnell Hall, and he catches it. And he finds the knee-hand architecture end zone. So that's Donnell Hall's second receiving touchdown of the season. We can take another quick look at that with the fake wide receiver screen pass to Wanzenreed and load it up to Hall, and he's able to haul it in for 6.
Haul it in. There you go. And a good job there, too, by Matt Meacham with the pump fake to draw the defense. Toughest part of that right there was the catch. Hall was so far behind the defense that when the ball's up there like that, it seems like it's there forever, able to haul it in for the 28-yard catch. And I think that throw was set up by the Cougars' effective running game.
So the point after attempt up and good. So Cougars now with a 15-point lead over the Panthers. They had gotten the 2-point conversion on their first score. So the point after puts them up with 15 points. We can take another look at that touchdown.
See the little shoulder shimmy there by Meacham, freezes the defense. Hall's 5 yards behind the defense. That's just watching the ball in your hand saying, please, please catch it. Let the muscles take care of it and let the mind go away. You could feel that coming, though, right? There had been Donahoe, Hall. We hadn't seen Cook yet, but you know that the HFL, Dan Hoyt, when he gets you into a rhythm, he likes to throw you off. And it was I just had a feeling that was the time.
He likes to lull the defenders into a slumber and then hit them over the head with a deep ball. So Cougars will come out here for the kickoff, brought to you by Alexander Enterprises. Alexander Enterprises specialize in home remodeling, renovations, additions, kitchens, bathrooms, garages, new builds, decks, and painting. Give them a call before you start your next project at 624-9120. So the Cougars able to score following the Torres interception. Geneva Panthers offense planning to come back out on the field following this kickoff, as it's an end-over-end kick going to be fielded by the Panthers at about their own 15-yard line. This is number 3 for Geneva. That's Tim Moore.
And a nice 30-yard return by Moore. Good leg there, and good field position here for Geneva. Now Geneva really, I don't think Peter is built to score quickly and rally from 15 points down. So I think this is an important drive for them just to keep their composure, do what they've been doing, but find a way to finish. And just one more thing on that touchdown pass. When we have talked about Matt Meacham through the season, they've talked about the touch and the soft ball that he throws. He really did a nice job of laying that up there for Hall to run under and make that catch. It was almost like, kind of an alley-oop kind of play.
Yeah, and I know our instant replays are slowed down, but it just looked like the ball was up there longer than normal, like it was just drifting up. So here's Torres, and he's going to be dropped and sacked by HFL. That's number 58, Cooper Levine.
Cooper Levine with a fumble recover already. Good push there, both Levine, Jack Harvey, and Levine closing in. Also, looks like Ryan Gary was there. So the Cougars had great push from 3 linemen, and Torres really didn't have much room to operate or anywhere to really go with the football.
And that's one of the things when you face a quarterback like Torres, you have to try and keep him bottled up in the pocket. You can't let him get outside of it because that's where he's most dangerous. So only Levine's going to get the credit for the sack, but the other defensive end and defensive lineman certainly helped there, as Torres with the quick pass to the far sideline. It's going to be a gain of 2 yards.
And it looks like that was Loranville again. Loranville kind of emerging as his top target here today. That's his 3rd catch. Wanzen Reed, we've talked to him about him mostly this season as a receiver, but he's showing that he can do a great job on defense as a cornerback. Had the big interception and a nice open field tackle right there.
So 3rd and long for the Panthers. We'll have to see what they elect to do here. They come out in a doubles formation. Man in motion. It's going to be a jet sweep. Ball's on the ground. Looks like the exchange there wasn't clean, and it's going to be number 61, Jack Harvey, is going to recover it. So the Cougar offense is going to come back out on the field. There we go on the instant replay. Yeah, the exchange there between Torres and the motioning Moore was not clean.
So we had, I believe, an illegal formation penalty on Geneva that was declined, so it will be Cougar ball. And Harvey's having himself a nice game, too. He had sack a couple plays earlier. And, we asked Coach Russ about the turnovers. And it's not as simple as being, if you say they're in the right place at the right time, the defenders are oversimplifying it. He says they're coached to be there, and they're following through on what they've studied on their game film, what they've been taught all week, and they're carrying out their assignments. And when you do that, works out well. We got big number 88 here to the lower side of the screen with the trips formation, Peter.
So we'll have to see if they go towards Nolan Smith. Meacham from the shotgun. Donahoe to his left. It's going to be a pass play. Loading up towards the far sideline, and that's going to be hauled in by Wazenreed.
We've seen that's an HFL staple, too. Load up with triples and then go to the one-on-one matchup at the top of the field. Wazenreed with a great job there. Just beats his man with a move at the 25. Meacham lays up another beautiful pass. Runs under it at the goal line. Touchdown, Cougars.
And we talked about it at the top of the broadcast, but just the two of them, it seems like they are just on the same page through these first 4 games. As Wazenreed finds the Meehan Architecture end zone, extending the Cougar lead to 21. We'll have the point after attempt for HFL. This is Trent Wagger. And the ball is up and good. So Wagger 2 for 2. So Cougars now at 22 as we are about 8.5 minutes left here in the second quarter.
And look at that beautiful ball in the air, right? And a lot of offensive coordinators, when you get the turnover, they like to take a shot on the first play after. That's exactly what happened with HFL there. They were feeling a little bit, had a great touchdown from Hall on their last play from scrimmage, forced the turnover, come out and attack, and now it's a 3-score game.
Yeah, and for Geneva, this is one of those offensive drives where you feel like it's got to end in points.
It is. That's 14 points, Peter, for the Cougars in less than 2 minutes, 1:45. So that's really where game changer. The whole script can flip on just 2 plays like that.
So this kickoff brought to you by Alexander Enterprises. Alexander Enterprises specialize in home remodeling, renovations, additions, kitchens, bathrooms, garages, new builds, decks, and painting. Give them a call before you start your next project at 624-9120. So here is Trent Wagger, ball teed up, and the kickoff high end over end kick, going to be fielded by Batavia. I believe this is
That's 34.
Daniel Carter.
He's a tough runner. Did you see him just lower his shoulder there? Got into Connor Finn a little bit. But the Panthers will be at their 35-yard line. And, again, we talk about the catch and the throw by Matt Meacham. Consistency, Peter. He's had 3 touchdown passes in every game this season, including this afternoon. He's got 12 touchdown passes in not even quite 3.5 games.
So I think for Geneva here, the critical thing is to get positive plays on early downs. A couple times here they've been finding themselves on 3rd and very long, and if they can get that 3rd down conversion to be a little bit more manageable, I think they're going to find more success. That's what they did. They had success earlier on that offensive possession where they drove all the way down into the red zone, weren't able to convert, but they were able to move the ball quite well against this Cougar defense.
I couldn't agree more. That's just to come out, kind of study themselves a little bit. They've given up 14 points in a minute 45. This drive is all about steadying the ship, trying to get on the scoreboard before halftime. Geneva is expected to get the ball to start the second half, so they could be back in the game with a good drive here and a good drive to start the second half.
So a nice run play here by Lawson at the 30, inside the 20, and he's going to cruise into the end zone. So just what the doctor ordered for Geneva. Lawson goes yard, finds the end zone for the Panthers, and they find their first score of the day. Let's take another look at that run play.
What a great run by Lawson. He doesn't really get much resistance till he gets to the second level, breaks a tackle midfield, then is able to break another tackle outside the 12-yard line. You've got the defensive tackle, Ben Cook, trying to get him for the goal line. So exactly, you called it, Peter, what Geneva needed. Lawson, an explosive playmaker, and that's the kind of play that the HFL coaching staff knew that Geneva was capable of.
So Geneva has their offense still out on the field. They trail 22. They do not trail by 22, but here's the 2-point conversion going to be tipped and incomplete. So it's going to be 6-22.
Here's another look at that run. A missed tackle in the backfield, makes that cut at the 35, breaks his seam, the cornerback slips a little bit, and then another broken tackle at the 40, a broken tackle at the 12, and 3 or 4 broken tackles on that play. So the Cougars had their opportunities to stop Lawson, and he made the miss. All credit to him. That's the kind of explosive player he is.
And in our conversations with Geneva, that's kind of what they hang their hat on. They have a couple different players that just when they're in space, they can make plays, and Lawson is one of them.
Yeah, and his team needed that big time. Big time.
So we'll have a kickoff here by the Panthers. This kickoff brought to you by Alexander Enterprises. Alexander Enterprises specialize in home remodeling, renovations, additions, kitchens, bathrooms, garages, new builds, decks, and painting. Give them a call before you start your next project at 624-9120.
And Lawson Peter came into the game with 13 carries for 119 yards and 2 touchdowns. So he was averaging close to 9 yards a carry. And that 67-yarder won't hurt that at all.
So now the pressure is going to shift to the Geneva defense to see if they can generate a quick 3-and-out and get their offense back the ball. We're just over 8 minutes to go in the second quarter. Geneva kicking off after a long touchdown run as we have a short kick. This is the Cougars. Believe that looks like number 2 for HFL, who...
Landon Hammond?
Yes, it is. Landon Hammond with the return. He's going to manage to get up towards the 40-yard line.
And, Hammond's on that second to last line. You catch the ball and you just get what you can. So 41 yards, great starting field position for the Cougars. You talked about the importance of this drive for the Geneva defense. It's important for the HFL offense, too, just to see how they respond to some adversity. They've been gifted a couple of turnovers and gotten some big play touchdowns. How do they respond after they've given up a big play and get the answer here?
And here's a jet sweep play to Hall. Hall to the far sideline, shifty back. And he's eventually going to be driven back, but after forward progress, he'll get, call it about 3-4 yards. And I think for the Panthers, they just got to try and keep everything in front of them. They've let a couple deep touchdown passes get the better of them. So maybe try and do like a cover 2 shell. Just try and keep everything in front of them, and with the understanding that they're going to have to try and find an answer for this Cougar rushing attack.
Right, and a couple of times they've sold out or they've fallen for that double move, right? And we've seen the last 2 HFL touchdowns, the receiver has been far behind the defense. So you're absolutely right. Keep them in front. The first HFL touchdown was just a great catch by Nolan Smith.
So pre-snap motion looks like it's going to be called against the Panthers. So that'll move the ball 5 yards. Yep. Defensive encroachment, so it'll set up 2nd and short here for the HFL Cougars.
So now, with the success of going over the top, you've got 2nd and short. Do you grind it out, or do you maybe take another look over the top? Great position for a play caller to be in.
It's going to be a handoff here to Cook. And Cook is going to fall ahead for more than a first down. This first down brought to you by HFMP. We bake sub rolls from scratch every day so that every bite of an HFMP submarine sandwich is bursting with flavor.
So a little bit more of the HFL playbook on display. This play we saw last week a lot with Ben Cook going up the middle. Great, power runner in between the tackles. We've seen the jet sweep. We've seen Donahoe. We've seen that from Cook, and we've seen him go over the top. So we're seeing a little bit more from HFL than we've seen in the first 3 games. We do have a Geneva player down right now. That's the cause for the delay. But he kind of got the feeling that this is a game where Coach Russ and his staff wanted to be pushed so they could see how some of these plays work against a quality opponent.
So as you mentioned, injury timeout on the field. Training staff will assess the player's condition. And I think what we saw in that first quarter, as number 7, Xavier Praler, able to walk off under his own power for the Panthers, always good to see, was a bit of a dogfight that HFL hasn't really seen much this season. And
I think we're still seeing it. I mean, HFL had that early 8-0 lead, was on the move in Geneva territory, came up with an interception. If this Geneva defense is able to make a play here, flip the field, it's still game on. It's very early. I mean, it's midway through the second quarter.
Yeah, well, what I was going to say is, like, this sort of drive is important because these are the sort of drives where HFL is just able to kind of to snowball. So Geneva defense will look to, like you said, try and make a play here. First down is going to be a pass out to the near side. That's Hall, and a great job there by the defender, number 24, who is Kareem Guillory, able to wrap up Hall and I think just limit him to getting back to the line of scrimmage.
And Guillory's made 3 or 4 very good plays in space today. He just stepped up there, was able to wrap Hall and bring him down. So that's credit to the defense for making a play. But the one thing HFL does have going for it is they've had success on the ground in the air. They're able to mix and call whatever they want.
So Hall, the pre-snap motion, going to be a handoff to Ben Cook. He's got Ryan Gary in front of him, and he bruises through a defender.
And that's a Mel Whitfield that he ran into. Whitfield is a big, strong kid, 5'10", 213 pounds, one of the leaders on that defense. You mentioned he's got Gary pulling, takes out Carter, gets that extra yardage. Whitfield's there to knock him down, but now HFL is in 3rd and short.
So 3rd and about 1 or 2 yards.
And you've got Cook and Donahoe in the backfield, so a little bit more of the power look from the Cougars.
So on 3rd and short, we got that should be against the Cougars. Cook jumped.
He did. Got a little bit antsy right there, and that'll cost him 5. So that 3rd and 2 from the 23 becomes a 3rd and 7 from the 28.
So the Cougars now facing, as you mentioned, a longer 3rd down conversion. They're inside the 30-yard line, so potential 4-down territory. It's probably a little bit outside the range of their kicker, Trent Wagger.
But every time we talk about it, the Cougars seem to make a big play and take that out of consideration. But you're right. I would think that they've got that approach to this play that if they don't get it, they will go on the next play.
So doubles for the Cougars. Donahoe to the right. Going to be a swing pass to Donahoe, able to haul it in, and he's out past the 20. He's at the 10, and he's going to be dropped at the 5-yard line. So Cougars able to convert that third down. Brings up a new set of downs, 1st and goal from the 5. That Cougar first down brought to you by HFMP. From sheet cakes to cookie cakes, the big shop at HFMP can custom decorate a delicious and beautiful cake for any occasions.
And I really like the way that play was drawn up. There's good patience by Matt Meacham to get the ball out to Donahoe. He got it over the defensive lineman. And Colt Miller ran a slant that kind of cleared the area. So once the ball was in Donahoe's hands, he had a lot of green in front of him. And a good tackle at the end there by Geneva to keep him out of the end zone.
So 1st and goal from HFL. Going to be a handoff to Donahoe. Donahoe untouched into the Meehan Architecture end zone. Cougars, another touchdown, 28-6, 4:23 to go in the second quarter.
And the line opened up a huge hole there. You got 52, who we've called his name all day long. That's Mr. Owen Englert getting the push of that far side. Big gaping hole there on the right side of the line for Donahoe to go through.
Correction, Austin Kriego, number 52.
52, I was like 51, thank you.
So here's the point after attempt for the Cougars. Wagger is up and good. So 29-6 our score here. Fall weekend at Honeoye Falls-Lima Central School District. Here's another look at that touchdown play. We had the parade before the game. And they're just an absolute beautiful day for football here. We mentioned at the top of the broadcast, I believe Thursday evening was the official first day of autumn, and the weather's terrific.
It is, and if your dad, Chris Caroso, was here, he would mention the autumnal equinox, right? There would be some kind of a explanation about the atmosphere, but I just know that the days are getting shorter, the sunsets have been beautiful, and the weather's getting a little bit crisper. And you mentioned, Peter, just in the last 6 minutes and in 12 seconds, we've had 4 touchdowns. So it's a lot. 3 by the Cougars, which have allowed them to open things up. But, just a really big second quarter for both teams here.
This kickoff brought to you by Alexander Enterprises. Alexander Enterprises specializes in home remodeling, renovations, additions, kitchens, bathrooms, garages, new builds, decks, and painting. Give them a call before you start your next project at 624-9120. And teed up, and it's a high kick. Going to be fielded by number 24 for the Panthers, and he's got some green grass in front of him, streaking down the sideline. One man to beat. It's going to be the kicker. Can Wagger get him? No. Touchdown, Geneva.
Wow, we talked about a lot of points in a short period of time. That's Guillory on that return, and it was kind of one of those pop-up kicks that we've seen HFL do before. Catches it at the 32-yard line. Once he breaks through that group of tacklers, it's a race down the sideline, and Wager had a little bit of an angle, but Guillory was just too fast and was able to get to the corner of the end zone.
Yeah, Wagger unable to get there. It was 21 for HFL. That's Harrison Hool who tried to trace him down, but Guillory able to find the end zone to keep the Panthers alive here in the second quarter, as I imagine they'll go for 2 here.
Yeah, that big play potential. I mean, we've seen it the last 2 times Geneva's had the ball. It's been a 67-yard touchdown. And, the pop kick, you try to surround the player, but Guillory was able to get outside of that initial 4 or 5 people circling on the kickoff unit for the Cougars. And once he got going down the sideline, it was over.
So here's the handoff to Carter. Carter is going to be ripped down by Donnell Hall.
Big open field tackle there by Hall. Carter, as we've mentioned, is a tough runner. Hall was able to get him up high and drag him down. So 29-12 here with 4:11 to go. So this is, I would think for the Cougars, one of those drives where you want to mix it. Obviously, if you can score, let's watch the touchdown again. What a touchdown. Great effort by number 21 for the Cougars, trying to dive and make that tackle. And that was Harrison Hool. And but 41 points in 2 quarters, Peter. Won't be short at halftime with a highlights show, that's for sure.
So this kickoff brought to you by Alexander Enterprises. Alexander Enterprises specialize in home remodeling, renovations, additions, kitchens, bathrooms, garages, new builds, decks, and painting. Give them a call before you start your next project at 624-9120.
but a great chance for the Cougars to operate their 4-minute offense, to try and get down the field. Obviously, if you break free and can score a touchdown, you do it. But if you put together a string of 7 or 8 quality plays and are able to take time off the clock and get in the end zone before or close to when time expires, that's probably the ultimate goal.
So another kickoff here at HFL. It's been a busy day for the kickoff specialists. As back deep for the Cougars, Donnell Hall. And it's going to go to Hall. So he'll look to return this one right up the middle, making his way towards the near side. Got a holding call, likely against HFL. Hall makes it over the midfield stripe, but this one should be coming back a bit.
Good return by Hall. He had a running start, caught the ball on the run, was able to bring it back. I think the infraction happened around the 42, 43-yard line. Cougars will start, well, it's actually the 38-yard line. They'll start probably at their own 28 with 4:02 to go.
So the official with the ball making his way to the 30-yard line, it looks like, where he will ultimately place it.
So perfect 4 minutes on the clock, 70 yards to go. Let's see what the Geneva defense can do and what the HFL offense can do. But before anybody does anything, Geneva's got their 3rd timeout of the half.
So Geneva takes their final timeout. This timeout brought to you by Bullfinch Fund. Fans who are sitting on IRA money that they don't know what to do with, or those who want to take control of their 401k money left at an old employer, should give Bullfinch a call at 624-3150. Bullfinch Fund. Invest right here. Do you know a working teenager can become a retirement millionaire just by starting a child IRA? Want to learn more? Call your local mutual fund, the Bullfinch Fund, at 624-3150. Bullfinch Fund. Invest right here.
And I know we usually wait till the end of the game to shout out our crew, but Luke Mendick with the replays today, man, he's been great. There's been a lot to look at, and he's been right on top of it. And I think, it adds a lot to the broadcast. We don't always see things the first time, and we get that second look. Helps us out, and I think it's a really good thing for our viewers out there, too.
Yeah, as well as the rest of the crew, we got Kyle Chaparino working the camera, and Patrick Borelli on graphics, and as you already mentioned, Luke Mendrick, our replay operator. So can't do it without them.
No, they make us look good, and that's not easy.
So as you mentioned, 4 minutes to go in the second quarter. HFL leading 29-12. So after the timeout, Meacham looks to throw over the middle and nearly intercepted.
Yeah, that ball bounced around a little bit, went off the hands of Donnell Hall. And the defense, the Geneva defense, which has been opportunistic, I think it was number 3, Timothy Moore, who was right there. The ball popped up again, and it looked like Larenville came in again for a second shot at it, but it wasn't there. A little bit of a small break there for the Cougars.
So after the incompletion, the Cougars come out, trips to the far sideline.
Big cushion on Nolan Smith down low, but they'll go with a run.
And here's Donahoe. And Donahoe just keeping the feet churning. He's going to get real close to a first down. Going to depend on the spot. And they're going to move the chains. So that'll be a Cougar first down, brought to you by Honeoye Falls Marketplace. The butchers at HFMP will cut your meat to order. It does not get any better than that.
Look at that hole he had to run right up the middle. Nice job down the field by Jack Harvey on Daniel Carter at the second level, which gave Donahoe even more room to finish that run for the first down.
So here's a pass play by Meacham. It's going to be tipped. And good awareness by your guy, number 52, Austin Krigo, not to try and catch that one because he is an ineligible receiver.
And good awareness by the Geneva defensive line. We haven't seen the screen from the Cougars as much maybe as in previous years, and they let the defensive line get pressure. I think they were trying to sneak Donahoe underneath. He got caught up in the wash. There was nothing to do, and sometimes that's a dangerous play, but credit to Geneva for sniffing that out.
So on 2nd and 10, Cougars. Donahoe in the backfield. Meacham from the gun.
Wandon
Collects the
read up top.
snap, hands off Donahoe. Donahoe out past midfield and dropped inside the 45-yard line. Cougars now in Geneva territory. This first down brought to you by Honeoye Falls Marketplace. Treat yourself today and every Saturday with a slow roasted prime rib dinner with all the fixins from HFMP for only $18.99 each.
What about the job, though, that Patrick Donahoe is doing? Came in with 27 rushes for 227 yards, 8.4 per carry. Every time the Cougars need a big play on the ground, he's there to deliver it.
So after the Donahoe run play, they'll go right back to him, and he's got another first down. And the safety there for Geneva, number 5, Connor Guerri, able to tackle him, but not after another first down, brought to you by Honeoye Falls Marketplace. Make every day just a little bit more special with the Stonewall Kitchen collection of brands available at HFMP.
That's just, 17 yards, just like that. Back-to-back big carries for Donahoe. Has the Cougars set up where they want to be. 2 minutes, 35 seconds left in the half at the 26-yard line of Geneva. And, again, they've got the running game going, so that opens up the passing game if that's where they want to go.
So on 1st and 10, Cougars throw the ball out towards a far sideline. I believe that's Wanzen Reed. And it is. He's going to be just short, though, of a first down, so it'll bring up 2nd and short. Something we were talking about earlier was the Cougar defense spending a lot of time out on the field in the first quarter. Well, the second quarter, it's been Geneva. I see some hands on hips between plays. So the quick strikes, the quick touchdowns by the Panthers has hurt their defense a little bit, keeping them out on the field.
I think both teams have 7 or 8 two-way starters, so that's a great point. You see them being a little bit winded here as we go under 2 minutes.
Pass play, Meacham loaded up towards the end zone. It's going to be incomplete in the direction of Donnell Hall.
Good coverage by Geneva, though. Connor Guerreri is one of 3 or 4 players. They had Hall surrounded. Larenville's there, so that was good coverage. HFL likes that seam route. It was just not there that time, so maybe that's something that the Panthers had seen on film and were able to defend. Now it's 3rd and 1.
So it stops the clock with under 2 to play. HFL with all 3 timeouts. They are facing 3rd and 1.
And they take their first timeout.
So the Cougars elect to talk this one over, figure out what the best play is to convert this 3rd down. This timeout brought to you by Bullfinch Fund. Fans who are sitting on IRA money that they don't know what to do with, or those who want to take control of their 401k money left in an old employer should give Bullfinch Fund a call at 624-3150. Bullfinch Fund. Invest right. Invest right here. Did you know a working teenager can become a retirement millionaire just by starting an child IRA? Want to learn more? Call your local mutual fund, the Bullfinch Fund, at 624-3150. Bullfinch Fund. Invest right. Invest right here.
So 2 chances here, I think, for the Cougars to get the first down. They're on the 16-yard line, so knocking on the door for a 5th touchdown. This drive to this point has been really driven by the running game. A couple of passes, the pass to Wanzen Reed, but it's really been Patrick Donahoe on the ground that's moved this ball down the field.
And if they do manage to pick this up, Geneva with no timeouts wouldn't be able to stop the clock. So the Cougars could pretty much probably take this one close to half if they elect to do so.
And given that they just gave up a kickoff return for a touchdown, that's probably not a bad thing. Now they get the jump there. I think that was on the D.
So the hard count by Meacham draws him offside, so that'll be a first down for HFL, brought to you by Honeoye Falls Marketplace. Haddock delivered from the Boston Fish Pier every week, making HFMP's Friday Fish Fry with 2 sides and fries all the more delicious.
Unofficially, that's the 5th penalty on Geneva this half, and a couple of them have been on pre-snap line violations, so that's hurt them a little bit.
So 1st and 10 from HFL inside the 15. Screen play going to Donahoe. Donahoe into the end zone. Patrick Donahoe finding the Meehan Architecture end zone again this afternoon. This time it's through the air.
And when we see this here, the screen set up well. Donahoe sneaks out. There, he makes a great move at the 10-yard line to get around the defensive back, and then he's got a wall of blockers in front of him able to carry it in the end zone. And we saw HFL try to run that screen earlier in the drive. Geneva sniffed it out, came back with it, got the touchdown.
So Trent Wagger in to attempt the point after. Here's the snap, the hold. Kick is up, and the kick is good. So the Cougars 36, Geneva 12. Geneva will have about 1:40 to work with here left in the first half as we take another look at that HFL touchdown.
That time, the penetration by the Geneva line created that little gap. It's exactly what you want. They had 5 or 6 in the backfield once the ball came over the top. Donahoe had one man make one man miss, and once he did, he had a clear path. 40 points this quarter, Peter. It was 8-0 HFL after the first quarter, so it's been explosive.
And you can just see what beautiful sky we have looking towards the east here on the campus of Honeoye Falls-Lima. This kickoff brought to you by Alexander Enterprises. Alexander Enterprises specialize in home remodeling, renovations, additions, kitchens, bathrooms, garages, new builds, decks, and painting. Give them a call before you start your next project at 624-9120.
So other than the 2 turnovers, you look at offensive efficiency for the Cougars. They've scored 5 touchdowns on 7 possessions. Coach Russ is going to like that.
So as I mentioned, Geneva with 1:40 left. They will get the ball to start the second half as well. So they have the opportunity here to try and double dip as we have a run back here for Geneva. This is number 24. I believe that's Kareem Guillory. He's the one who returned it last time for the touchdown. First time the Geneva offense has been out on the field since that long touchdown earlier by Lawson.
So that he scored at the 8:05 mark of the second quarter, Peter. So that's that's over 6.5 minutes since the Geneva's had an offensive drive. And in that time, the Cougars have scored 2 touchdowns and the Panthers have scored 1.
So 92 seconds separate us and halftime. Geneva will look to try and score here once before the halftime intermission.
And I think your theory with the HFL defense, right, with that shell, to just keep everybody in front of you and don't give up one big play. Panthers had a little bit of a substitution issue there. We were 2 players short.
So they load up the backfield here, and this is going to be a carry by number 5.
Ball's
out. Ball's out. Looks like it was recovered by a Geneva Panther. Not quite sure. They're marking him past the first down. I wasn't sure if he's allowed to advance a fumble, what the rules are at the high school level, but they're marking it as a first down.
So there's the ball. It pops up. It bounces around, and Kadir Lawson is in the right place at the right time, steps through a tackler, and is able to step forward for the first down. So not the way the Panthers drew it up in the huddle, but they'll take it.
And the added yardage stands. So Geneva, clock rolling, though. They're at the 49-yard line of the HFL end of the field. They're driving towards the north end zone. Minute now to go. Run play here. Number 5 again. So back-to-back run plays by Connor Guerrieri.
Right. So Torres is not in the game right now, who was the starting quarterback. I didn't see him sustain an injury. I don't know if this is just a change of pace to go with a wildcat, but Dota Torres has been their quarterback all year, and now Guerrieri's kind of been taking the snaps in a shotgun position.
Torres is lined up on the far side at the wide receiver position,
okay,
so he is out on the field.
So they're going wildcat.
40 seconds here, and this is a run play here by number 24, I believe. That's Kareem Guillory.
And that's probably a stop that the HFL defense needed. Good job by Donnell Hall, kind of forcing it back inside where there's Ryan Gary, there's Jack Harvey, and then there is our friend number 51, Owen Englert.
So it looks like they are going to elect not to run another play. So that'll do it for the first half. Cougars leading 36-12. We'll take a quick commercial timeout. We'll come back with our advertising sponsors as well as some first half highlights.
Honeoye Falls Falls Marketplace. Fresh breads, donuts, special cakes made every day from scratch. Our butcher still cuts your meats to order, doesn't get any better than that. Hot pizza, fish fries on Friday. Order your favorite sub right here. Organic foods and healthy choices. Honeoye Falls Marketplace, we're true blue local, uncompromised quality close to home.
Today's game also brought to you by Alexander Enterprises. For nearly 30 years, Alexander Enterprises has been one of Rochester's most trusted contractors. They specialize in home remodeling, renovations, additions, kitchens, bathrooms, garages, new builds, decks, and painting. Give Todd and the folks at Alexander Enterprises a call before you start your next project at 624-9120. Also, Bullfinch Fund. Bullfinch Fund. Fans who are sitting on IRA money that they don't know what to do with, or those who want to take control of their 401k money left in an old employer, should give Bullfinch a call at 624-3150. Bullfinch Fund. Invest right. Invest right here. Did you know a working teenager can become a retirement millionaire just by starting a child IRA? Want to learn more? Call your local mutual fund, the Bullfinch Fund, at 624-3150. Bullfinch Fund. Invest right here. Also, Meehan Architecture. The Meehan Architecture Sports Update. Girls tennis celebrated the 5 seniors last night before their match. Ellie Kassler, Grace Kassler, Paige Fazakis, Riley Greenwich, and Maddie Langley. Also, girls volleyball defeated Brighton in 5 sets on Monday. They swept Batavia in 3 sets on Thursday, but they lost to Spencerport in 5 sets last night. Today's game also brought to you by Four Corners Eye Care and Optical. Now celebrating 30 years, Four Corners Eye Care and Optical provides full-scope vision and medical eye care, as well as quality optical services in the convenient location of the Four Corners of Honeoye Falls. Dr. Kissick and his staff are proud to call HFL home all these years. Hundreds of local residents, including myself, are proud to call Dr. Kissick their optometrist. Give Dr. Kissick at Four Corners Eye Care and Optical a call at 624-2122. And last but not least, Main Street Cafe, your hometown cafe with a location in both the village of Honeoye Falls and the hamlet of Mendon. Wednesdays are now Cheesesteak Wednesdays at their Mendon location. Or if you are in the mood for something else, try their milkshakes, coffee, espresso, smoothies, paninis, salads, or pizza. Be sure to ask about their catering services and how they can help create a unique menu for your next special event. Main Street Cafe prides itself on their fresh, made-to-order food and daily specials. And last but not least, the Sentinel. Today's game being broadcasted by the Mendon-Honeoye Falls-Lima Sentinel. You can follow along on social media channels at MHFL Sentinel, or you can visit their website, mhflsentinel.com, for local news. So we'll take a quick timeout here. We'll come back with the first half highlights, break down what we just saw, preview the second half. Maybe we'll get an out-of-town scoreboard update as available. So thanks for tuning in to the Mendon-Honeoye Falls-Lima Sentinel live on YouTube. We're back live here at Honeoye Falls-Lima. We are now got our first half highlights queued up, so we'll run through those.
Caught our breath a little bit. That was an exciting second quarter, Peter. 40 points. Here we go. Cougars' first drive of the game. First time we saw Nolan Smith really on the field, makes a fantastic one-handed catch. 34-yard touchdown pass from Matt Meacham. Cougars go for 2. They're up 8-0, just a minute 23 into the game.
Then on a later HFL possession, it was an interception by Geneva. Kadir Lawson, who returned it all the way inside the Cougar red zone, but after a penalty, it was moved all the way back down to approximately where the original interception occurred. They were unable to score there, and later.
Yep, Pryor throws an interception. Andrew Wanzenreed makes a great read on that ball, intercepts it at the 28, sets the Cougars up just inside of Geneva territory on their next drive. And on that, the Cougars came back, got their second touchdown, 10-11 left in the half. Donnell Hall, a 20-yard pass from Meacham, and a great touch pass there, Peter.
So then the Cougars again scoring. This time it was Andrew Wanzenreed from Meacham.
First play after a fumble, Cougars went over the top, took the lead there, and it didn't last long, because on the next play from scrimmage, Kadir Lawson for Geneva breaks a few tackles. We think we count 4 or 5 tackles broken on this play, goes 67 yards to get Geneva back in the ball game, and just an explosive play by the Panthers.
And then it was Patrick Donahoe punching it in for 6 on the ground to extend the Cougar lead, and then on the kickoff right after that HFL touchdown, it was Guillory who raced down the sideline and scoring for Geneva.
Then the Cougars closing the half, Peter, with a great drive. They got the ball back with 4 minutes left. It's Donahoe again, takes the screen pass from Meacham, 12-yard touchdown. 2 touchdowns in the second quarter for Donahoe, 4 touchdown passes for Meacham in the half.
So as you put it, a high-scoring first half, a high-scoring second quarter. Cougars leading 36-12. If you're Geneva, how do you feel after that first half?
You feel that you know that you belong on the field with HFL, but you feel that you need to play better. They've made they've had 6 penalties, and some of those are the pre-snap variety that gave HFL first downs deep in Geneva territory, but you've also shown that you can make big plays and score. So I think what you're looking for the Panthers is consistency. Put together a drive here, get it to a 3-score game, 36-18, and just play 24 minutes and see what the second half brings. Now, if you're the Cougars, how do you look at it?
I think if you're the Cougars, you mentioned earlier that I believe on their first 7 drives, they were able to punch it in 5 times. So they got to feel pretty good. There was a couple mistakes there, a Meacham interception and a Hall fumble. But other than that, they've been able to, for the most part, limit the Geneva Panthers' offense. They have the special teams touchdown and then the sole rushing touchdown. It was a big play. But if you're HFL, just stick to the game plan and keep the foot on the gas pedal.
Yep, and Desmond Howard on College Game Day today said, that you can tell a team is well coached by, the turnovers that they've forced, and when they're heading turnovers, and this game, each team has turned the ball over multiple times. Geneva with 3 turnovers, the Cougars with 2. Coming in the game, we hadn't seen a lot of turnovers, but people are making plays on both sides of the ball.
So Geneva will have the ball to start the second half. Cougars started this game with the ball. They'll be kicking off in the second half here as we have the parade award winners being announced here at the field. Homecoming weekend here at HFL. We mentioned the Hall of Fame class of 2022 at the top of the broadcast. They were out for the coin flip. There will be a ceremony back, I believe, inside the high school following the game, recognizing those individuals. Always a good time, homecoming, at all the districts across Western New York. You got the great fall foliage, although this fall weekend is the first fall weekend on the calendar.
A couple weeks it's going to really turn.
We're a couple weeks away, yeah, but always good, usually a little bit cooler weather, and typically a good football game.
It is, and it's a great to get out, see the community. You feel the energy. Some people that may not always come to football games, if they come to one, this is the one that they come to. Good mix of youngsters and alumni, and you just get that feeling that fall is here. Peter, both teams, as we mentioned at the top, battle of unbeatens. They both HFL and Geneva came in with 3-0 records. Batavia is the other team in Class B with a 3-0 record. Blue Devils are playing Bishop Kearney this afternoon. I'm unable to locate a score there, but Bishop Kearney 0-3 entering the game, Batavia 3-0. We've seen Bishop Kearney. I mean, I think we would both be very surprised if Batavia didn't move to 4-0 after this week. But Friday night scoreboard, Livonia, which was 0-3 coming in, gets its first win of the season, takes down Newark Marion 46-18. And Wayne, which started the season 0-2 with games against Batavia and HFL, beats Palmac 35-28, a close game. Palmac was the Cougars' opponent last week, so both of those teams are now 2-2. So I think we're starting to see Class B condense a little bit and separate, and this is a game too where the winner of this game will separate itself a little bit.
You had a chance to tune into that Wayne Palmac game, watch the closing minutes of that one. Wayne scored right at the end of the game to finish off Palmac, and I believe it was homecoming at Wayne as well. They had pep rally early in the day. They had post-game fireworks.
Wow!
So that's one of the perks of having a Friday night homecoming game. You know, maybe the attendance might suffer a little bit just because it's right after work and after school and everything. Whereas on a Saturday, 2 p.m. kickoff, not a whole lot of conflicts.
You can plan your day around it, and sometimes at the end of the work week, you can plan on going, but then the energy's not there. So benefits on both sides. And
so yeah, Wayne with post-game fireworks and fireworks on the field as they knock off Palmac.
So I mean, let's look ahead at the Cougar schedule here a little bit, because I think, obviously there's work to be done here in the second half. 24-point lead is a great start. But they have on the road next week at Newark Marion. Newark Marion, as we mentioned, 1-3. That one win was a forfeit win against Monroe in the opener. Then we get to a couple interesting games. October 8th at Monroe, and October 14th versus Batavia. I think those two games may be the games, other than this one, where the Cougars are pushed the most.
Yeah, I mean, I think HFL had those two games kind of circled on their calendar at the beginning. I know that they won't say that, but that's certainly a bit of a gauntlet, having to play both Monroe and Batavia back-to-back weeks. They'll be on the road at Monroe, but then they'll be home here against Batavia. The last time they played Batavia at home was that sectional championship game. They had an absolute electric game in Batavia during the regular season last year, and then, of course, meeting in the championship game at Pittsford Sutherland. So those two games are really going to be the test for HFL, facing some really, really good opponents and having to do it in back-to-back weeks.
It is, but that's a great preparation for sectionals too. You're in the final 3 weeks of the season. You know, those games are important in terms of seeding, and especially in sectionals where there's 8 teams, and in the first 2 rounds, the higher seed gets a home game, so there's importance in that. But there's also the learning part of it, where you just see how you stack up on the field, and if there's a chance to meet one of those teams again, what areas do you maybe need to improve on, and what are some things that maybe you excel at that you can exploit and use to your advantage.
And looking at Geneva's schedule here after today, they have home against Wayne, then they're at Palmyra Macedon, they're home against Monroe, and then they're at Bishop Kearney. So
this is a little bit of a 4-game stretch for them. They don't play Batavia this regular season, which, that's a small benefit to them. We know Batavia is always one of the best teams, but this month stretch right here, they're going to be tested every week, and coming in off that 11-game losing streak the last couple seasons that we referred to, getting these 3 wins off the top, we'll see where they really stack up, because a couple of these games I think will be super competitive, especially with the Wayne and the Palmac game.
And I think Geneva is certainly going to be in the mix for hosting a home game in that first round of sectional. So the other thing is this second half and the remaining 4 games on their schedule, it's going to be important to figure out, what their seeding is going to be, and playing that home sectional game is certainly a little bit more important, I think, than a lot of people make it. So looks like both teams returning to the field here to start the second half. We'll probably have some time added to the clock here to allow both teams to stretch and warm up. As we mentioned, HFL will be kicking off. So we expect we expect Geneva
to get the ball, but as we've learned, there's no absolute. So much can happen in high school football. Just because you're kicking it doesn't mean the other team will be receiving it and possessing it. It could be an onside kick. It could be turnover. It could go for a touchdown the other way. All things that we've seen and all things that make high school football unpredictable. But, I mean, if you're the Cougars, I think you're getting about what you expected today. You're getting tested, but you're also able to execute, and when you do things well, you find success. So I think this is a great time for this game for them to learn. Now, the next lesson will be can you come out and get that stop to start the second half and maybe open the game up, or if the game tightens up, what can you do to continue towards victory?
And in this second half, I'd like to see Geneva try and get that passing game established a little bit more than what we saw through the first 2 quarters. They've had a couple plays that have been close. They've had a couple plays where they were able to get good yardage, but they're yet to have the home run play through the air. And I think if they can get that going in this second half, that could cause some troubles for this HFL defense.
But I think the one thing that we have seen all season is that the solid play of the HFL defensive backs, and even dating back to the 2021 championship team, we know how important the back four are to the success of the defense, because not only are they the last line of defense, they step up and make a lot of plays. And we've seen Wanzen Reed with the interception, a big tackle, Donnell Hall, a couple of pass breakups. So Cougars defense has been stout.
So this kickoff brought to you by Alexander Enterprises. Alexander Enterprises specialize in home remodeling, renovations, additions, kitchens, bathrooms, garages, new builds, decks, and painting. Give them a call before you start your next project at 624-9120. So Donnell Hall has checked in as kickoff specialist here for the Cougars. We'll see what he can do. He's got the ball teed up. Second half here at James Dollard Athletic Stadium about to be underway. And the kick is away, end over end kick. It's going to go out of bounds at about the 20-yard line. So that'll be a kicking infraction, and Geneva will wind up with decent starting field position at the start of the third quarter.
Yeah, probably not what you're looking for, but given that
looks
Geneva
like they've actually elected to go with
the re-kick. Well, if you're Geneva, you've run one back, and you've got Kadir Lawson that is very explosive in space. I can understand that. It's a little bit of a risk, but
yeah, it's not often we see coaches elect to do the re-kick, but I think, like you mentioned, they've got some weapons on this kick return, and they want to try and get their player with the ball in space.
And I think what Coach Guerreri is thinking is, I can get this ball past the 40-yard line. He comes right to Lawson. He bobbles it, and it's on the ground inside the 15.
Lawson able to pick it up, make the first man miss, working towards the far sideline, able to make a couple yards out of that return up towards the 20. So the gamble of re-kicking does not pay off for the Panthers.
And if you do the first down math, it's 2 first downs, right? 20 yards. So it's a net gain of 20 yards for the Cougar defense, and worked out in the favor of HFL right there.
The last time we saw this Panther offense, it was the dying seconds of the first half, and they were in a Wildcat formation. And I see Torres on the near side at the numbers.
So it looks like they're going to continue to go Wildcat. Connor Guerreri took the majority of the snaps from Wildcat towards the end of the half. We'll see who gets the ball here.
So 1st and 10, direct snap rather. This is 34, Daniel Carter. So Daniel Carter, potentially the leading running back to captain this Wildcat offense if they elect to keep it going.
And this just might be an attempt by Geneva to slow things down, get the defense to rest, grind out some first downs. We mentioned with that 40-point second quarter, the Geneva defense was on the field a lot.
And here's Lawson on second down. He's going to be tackled at the 30. So it'll bring up 3rd and short.
So good job by the HFL line as it has done all day. There was double team right there on Austin Krigo. He was able to occupy 2 blockers, and that allowed he did break off and contribute to the tackle with Lawson, but also allowed his teammates to swarm to the ball.
And the benefit of this Wildcat formation, switching it up every play, it's a different, fresh player running the ball.
Yep, that's Guerreri on the sweep there, and a good job there. You know, Coach Russ told us this week that he thought the play of his defensive ends was going to be really one of the telltale signs of this game. And facing this Wildcat offense, it's really the job of the defensive ends to keep contained, and Jack Harvey did a good job there slowing down Guerreri, and then help was on the way and was able to force the 4th down.
So 4th and call it 3 for Geneva. They keep the offense on the field, trailing 36-12. Direct snap to number 7, and he's got the first down and more.
That's Prater.
That's Prater, Xavier Prater. So good to see. He was on the field injured late in that first half, but he's able to check in and get the first down. So glad to see he's healthy. And if you're a Panther fan, glad to see he's up past the first down marker.
And a gutsy call there. I know that, Geneva, you want to have the ball that shows faith in your offense that you can get those 3 yards and grind it out and just try to keep working to get back in the game.
So direct snap.
Guerreri got a corner.
Here's Connor Guerreri up past midfield inside the 35.
Big gain there. And the impressive thing there with Guerreri is he did a really good job of reading his blocks, having patience. He's got 3 blockers in front. There's the seam. He's able to cut through a group of HFL defenders and just to keep extending the play and gaining yardage. Alex Steinhoff tried to tackle the ball there at the end. Guerreri was able to put it away and move forward for a couple additional yards.
So substitution, Lawson checks back in for this Panther offense. Looks like he'll line up from the gun. And Lawson going to keep it on the direct snap, running near side past the 30. And he's going to be tackled hard after a gain of about 5 yards.
So now this Geneva offense starting to develop a little bit of a rhythm, keeping it simple, keeping it vanilla. You know, there is Torres up top, Dota Torres, who was the quarterback in the first half. You wonder if there might be a pop pass coming to try and get that play once to just test the discipline of this HFL defense, see if they try and catch him over the top.
Yeah, we had mentioned how the Cougars like to lull their opponents. That's potentially what Geneva's doing here with these consecutive run plays, as here's a run play by number 3. That's Robbie Johnson Jr. He's going to get about back to the line of scrimmage, so it'll bring up 3rd and manageable.
And that's been this series for the Panthers. They've got the 3 blockers in front, kind of the road grader mentality, running that Wildcat, and they've been moving the chains and moving the clock. Now this isn't a way to get back in the game quickly, but it's a way to get back in the game.
And HFL elects to take the timeout here. So this timeout brought to you by Bullfinch Fund. Fans who are sitting on IRA money that they do not know what to do with, or those who want to take control of their 401k money left in an old employer should give Bullfinch a call at 624-3150. Bullfinch Fund. Invest right. Invest right here. Did you know a working teenager can become a retirement millionaire just by starting a child IRA? Want to learn more? Call your local mutual fund, the Bullfinch Fund, at 624-3150. Bullfinch Fund. Invest right. Invest right here. Steve, what do you think HFL is talking about during this timeout?
Well, I think it's 2 different conversations. It was interesting. There was 4 or 5 HFL coaches on the field, but there was the linebacker position group was broken away and was having a specific conversation with a linebacker coach. I think it's about assignment football. I think it's, read your keys, find the football, and just keep making tackles.
So number 7 Xavier Praler is going to look to pass, throw it up towards Torres, and a little bit too far for Torres to make a play on it. So there's the pop pass we were expecting.
Yeah, we just weren't sure when it was going to happen. You know, the good protection for Praler, able to set his feet a little bit. Good coverage, too, by the Cougars. Donnell Hall and Landon Hammond have Torres bracketed. So that if that was going to be a catch, it was going to be a tough catch, and it was not able to make that connection. So fourth and 4 here. Big play.
This is Lawson in the backfield. Going to run to his left, try and lower his head. He's going to be close to it, and I think the second effort's going to get the first down.
I think so. The Cougars tried to take away that cutback lane, but Lawson is such a tough runner that he doesn't need a lot of space. And he gets to the 30, he cuts back once. It looks like they've got him at the 25, and he pulls away from the tackler and is able to get 3 or 4 more yards, and that really is where the first down was made.
And Ryan Gary kind of hit the turf because he knew that he just kind of put a shoulder into him. That's not going to bring down a guy like Lawson. He's got to wrap him up, and he knows.
Yep, missed opportunity. And Ryan's the kind of person that won't make that mistake twice generally.
So a new set of downs here for Geneva on their opening possession of this second half. Here's a run by Gary.
Nice job there by the interior of the Cougar line. We had Mr. Levine, who had a big first half, Cooper Levine, in there on the tackle, and I think he gets the first hit, 58, and then Ryan Gary there to clean up. So he didn't miss the chance to make a good hit there with a solid finish.
Yeah, I believe Ben Cook also involved in that tackle. And we have a penalty. Unsportsmanlike against the offense.
Wonder if that dates back to the sideline warning that we had in the first half, Peter. I mean, we didn't see anything from anything that happened on the field that was obvious. You obviously never know what's said. We don't have the on-the-field mic, but it was interesting time for that call to happen, and it's going to make things a little more challenging for 2nd and 20 here now for Geneva.
So here's Guillory, as you mentioned, on 2nd and 12. He breaks through the first tackle, but Carson Joint able to wrap him up and bring him down. So it'll be a minimal gain, if any, on second down.
Good pursuit there by Ryan Gary. Doesn't get him the first, but Carson Joint's there to finish it off. And we got Gary and Joint in your linebacker core. Those guys are pretty dependable and make most of the plays that you need made.
And Geneva doesn't have to get this all in one play. They just have to try and make it 4th and manageable as they're facing 3rd and 22. Here's a run play by Lawson. Lawson cuts up,
what a play.
Hurdles a man, and is going to be about 5 yards short of the first down marker. So achieve the making it 4th and manageable goal.
Yeah, and when they need to play, Lawson's been the guy all day. Again, he's got that elusiveness, and then you mentioned the hurdle over the HFL tackler, Alex Steinhoff, I believe, or maybe that was 9, Colton Miller. Now 4th and 6, another chance for the Panthers to make a play.
And they go right back to Lawson. Lawson patiently trying to find his holes. Going to be tackled inside the 10-yard line. That should be enough for a 4th down conversion for Geneva.
And I think your key word there, Peter, was patience because, again, the Cougars had good penetration. Looks like Lawson isn't going to get to the 10, but he's able to keep those legs moving forward and just moving forward. Next thing you know, first down.
So we are approaching the 6-minute mark of this third quarter, taking a lot of time off on their first possession, but they are now within the red zone. And here is number 7.
Praler.
And
touchdown.
Praler, I believe, is going to fall into the end zone. And yes, he does. So the Panthers score on their opening possession of the second half. Score now 36-18.
Yeah, Xavier Praler is a player that was on our list to watch, and he patient. That's the one thing we saw from the Panthers offense all the way down the field. They let their blocks get forward, and they were able to gain time and gain yardage. And it did take them 6 minutes and 19 seconds to score that touchdown. But now it's 36-18, and I believe they'll go for 2.
And this is an important 2-point conversion because if they are able to get it, the score will be 36-20, meaning a 16-point game, meaning a 2-possession game compared to a 3-possession game.
Absolutely. And
Torres is going to be in the shotgun, so they are going to bring Torres, the quarterback, into the backfield. First time we've seen it this drive. He's going to look to throw it. He throws it low, and it's incomplete. He was looking for, believe, number 3. That's Robbie Johnson Jr. So the 2-point conversion is no good. Geneva will kick off here.
And there's the nice run by Praylor. These Panther runners all have that cutback ability, which allows them to extend plays and gain additional yardage.
This upcoming kickoff brought to you by Alexander Enterprises. Alexander Enterprises specialize in home remodeling, renovations, additions, kitchens, bathrooms, garages, new builds, decks, and painting. Give them a call before you start your next project at 624-9120. And if you're Geneva, you got to be pretty happy with how that drive went. You know, they probably had a long conversation at half. They said, how are we going to take this ball and move it down the field and score? And they did just that.
And they converted 2 fourth downs, so they made plays when they needed to make plays. They showed patience, and they established some control at the line of scrimmage. They only attempted 2 passes, and 1 was on the conversion. So they came out and said, we're not going to go quietly. Now, with HFL, it's been a while since they've had the ball, Peter. Just like you always look at that right time. It's probably been 20 minutes, 25 minutes. They did have that drive at the end of the first half where the 4-minute drive where they were able to get the Donahoe touchdown. But they need to come out and not necessarily score here on offense, but do some positive things just to get back in the groove.
So Geneva with the kick. Going to be fielded by the Cougars. This is number 3.
Connor Finn, 35-yard line. Good starting position.
So as you mentioned, it's been probably 20, 30 minutes since the HFL offense was last on the field. So they got to try and get that rhythm going again, which sometimes can be tough. And if it's not there, a quick 3 and out.
Geneva gets the ball back, and we're buckling up here for an exciting fourth quarter.
So Meacham will be operating out of the gun. He's got 3 receivers to the far side. Believe that's Ben Cook in the backfield, and it is a handoff to Cook. And he's able to break a couple tackles. Yeah, looked like it was bottled up at the line of scrimmage. Looked like he was stopped, but able to just keep those legs moving and churn out a couple extra yards, and it's going to be second and about 3.
Aaron Fasek with a good block to clear a little bit of extra space, but both we saw it with Lawson on the Geneva side, and then Cook right there, both getting that YAC yards after contact.
So 5-minute mark of the third quarter, 5 minutes remaining. Cougars from the shotgun is Meacham. He's going to hand off to Donahoe. Donahoe is going to get the first down and get tackled at about midfield. So that's a Cougar first down. Brought to you by HFMP. We bake sub rolls from scratch every day so that every bite of an HFMP submarine sandwich is bursting with flavor.
And I know that Matt Meacham has 4 touchdown passes and been impressive today, but if you're looking at this HFL offense, it's also been impressive that when they've needed to run the ball, they've been able to run the ball. And come out and get that first down on 2 carries here to start the third quarter. Their first possession has been exactly what they needed.
So after the Cougar first down, HFL at midfield. It's going to be a pitch play to the near side. This is Patrick Donahoe. Donahoe at the 40. Donahoe at the 35 and knocked out at the 30-yard line. So that's enough for another Cougar first down. That first down, of course, brought to you by HFMP. From sheet cakes to cookie cakes, the bake shop at Honeoye Falls Marketplace can custom decorate a delicious and beautiful cake for any occasion.
Donahoe has good vision, Peter. I know that that whole side of the field was sealed off and the line did a great job, but he's able to see that open field and make that move at the right time, and he has just been ultra impressive this first 3.5 games, especially coming after off an injury last season when we hadn't seen him play before.
So here's a pass play looking in the direction of Colton Miller is going to fall incomplete, stops the clock. 3.5 to go in the third quarter. Cougars at the 30-yard line.
That plays a staple in the HFL book, too. You do that. They did the flash screen in the first half where they went over the top for the touchdown. There they tried to run the real screen. Now, it makes the defense respect both options. It wouldn't surprise me if they maybe come out and run something similar and take a shot soon.
After the first down incompletion, Meacham is going to hand off to Donahoe. Donahoe up the middle. He's at the 10, at the 5. Touchdown, Cougars. Patrick Donahoe back in that Meehan Architecture end zone. Cougars answer the long Geneva touchdown in the third quarter.
They do, and Donahoe, third touchdown of the day. Huge hole up front. You've got two linemen 10 yards downfield blocking. Donahoe cuts back straight to the end zone. He's having himself a huge day, Peter. Huge day.
Yeah, last week it was the Ben Cook show, and this week it's the Patrick Donahoe show.
And that's the perfect, and here's Avery Reynolds on to try the kick.
Kick is up. Wait, haven't seen, oh no, we have a pre-snap penalty, it looks like. I was waiting forever to get the...
Yeah, they never gave the final indication. It looked like it was good. But, I mean, I think if you're Coach Ross and they call the point good, you take the point. There you go. But they're going to run it again? But Avery Reynolds has had a couple opportunities this season, and here she is again.
So Reynoldson with the point after attempt. Here's the snap, the hold, the kick is up, and it's no good. So Cougars offense able to, like I said, answer that long, methodical Geneva drive. And it's capped off with this Patrick Donahoe rushing touchdown.
Perfect answer to that Geneva drive. You know, they came out, and their run game has been there all day when they needed. Patrick Donahoe did the bulk of the work there, and shout out to the line, though. Harvey, Fasik, Joint, Englert, Ryan Gary, and you know, we've seen Austin Kriego too. They've been opening huge holes all day, and they've been giving Matt Meacham time. And when you have the balance that HFL has shown today, you're very tough to defend. And Cougars over 40 for the fourth straight game.
This kickoff brought to you by Alexander Enterprises. Alexander Enterprises specialize in home remodeling, renovations, additions, kitchens, bathrooms, garages, new builds, decks, and painting. Give them a call before you start your next project at 624-9120.
So we see Geneva coming back. Peter, do you see them sticking with that Wildcat, or do you think they have to maybe do something with a little bit more tempo to get back in the game? Is this about the long picture in the season and doing what you need to do, or is this about trying to get back in the game today?
I don't know. I think you can make an argument both ways. As we have the Donnell Hall kickoff fielded by number 3, Timothy Moore, who's going to be dropped at the 25-yard line.
Great special teams tackle there by number 33 for the Cougars, Patrick Donahoe. Why do I have to look up that name? He scored 3 touchdowns, and then he gets down on the field and makes that kick coverage tackle. That's nice to see, right?
Yeah, and I think if you're Geneva, you ride with the hot hand, and the Wildcat formation seemed to be working quite well for them. So I would expect to continue that. As it looks like Torres is loaded up, lined up in the shotgun position.
That's why we're not coaches, right? We're here and we can guess.
It's a design run for Torres, who's going to be dropped in the backfield by Carson Joint. Nice play there by.
I think it may have actually been Aaron Fasik. No, it's 56. You were right all the time. Those Cougar numbers are playing tricks again. But it's not even nighttime, Peter.
And they're New Jerseys. We no longer can blame the tricolor piping of those old uniforms because we have single color letters.
Yeah, and a great read there, great play by Carson Joint.
So after we
go back to Lawson there.
Here's Lawson.
One
so
cutback.
Shifty, and he's eventually dropped by Ryan Gary. Picks up about 6. So it'll bring up third and 7, 3rd and 8.
Lawson's a handful, Peter. I mean, he's made a lot of good plays today, and, any given play, he can take it to the house, as can a couple of these other Geneva players. I know Coach Guerrero in our conversation really said he's got 5 guys that can pop a big play anytime.
So 3rd and 9, this is, I believe, Guillory, and he's going to be wrapped and spun around a couple times in the Geneva backfield. Going to lose yards there, bring up 4th and long for the Panthers, and conventional wisdom would say punt here, but I think they might elect to try and no, maybe they are going to punt. Wasn't sure. Yeah, it looks like they're bringing out.
Colin Wiles is dropping back in at least a punt formation, or 33. Let's not let that play by Austin Krigo go either. He did a good job there. The Cougar defensive line has done a good job all day, kind of extending that play, pushing it out, and able to stop it.
And the punt bounces and fielded by Hall. Hall working up towards midfield, coming over the Cougar logo at midfield.
He's got a seam now if he can get up by
He's
this
at the
tackler.
40, and he's going to be tackled out of bounds. That'll result in a pair of flags being thrown. That was at the Geneva 35-yard line. So I got to imagine that is
horse collar, right?
that or unnecessary roughness. It looked like he was certainly out of bounds by the time he was dropped. Good return there by Hall, and it might be moved even closer to that north end zone depending on the call from the officials.
And the Cougars defense found the answer on that drive, did what they needed to do to force the punt. And great return by Donnell Hall is going to set HFL up deep in Geneva territory.
We do have a personal foul against the Panthers. So that's a 15-yard penalty that's being marked out by the official. It'll put the Cougars with starting field position at the 18-yard line. So the Cougar offense takes the field, and their first play they're going to be running is inside the red zone.
Yeah, that's a great drive start, and after that initial drive by Geneva, HFL seems to have recaptured the mojo here.
So bunch 3 receiver set to the near side. Ben Cook behind Meacham. He'll shift to Meacham's right. Matt Meacham collects the snap, looking to throw, throws it up in the direction of Nolan Smith.
Did he bring it in?
He did bring it in, but we did have a flag. Got to wait to see.
Yep, and we just saw Austin
like
Krigo tap himself on the chest. I think that it's coming back, and I think Krigo is going to say that penalty is on him.
Yeah, it looked like it was in the vicinity of a holding call, and waiting for the official indication. And yes, it is a hold. So this touchdown is wiped off the board. So the Cougars will go back down to 42 points. And they will be moved back 10 yards.
That doesn't take away, though, from the skill that was on display right there. It was a great throw from Matt Meacham and a super adjustment by Nolan Smith to come down with the ball. That people still see that on tape and know that that's tough to defend.
So Cougars now facing 1st and 20. Here's the pitch play to Ben Cook. And we have another flag thrown as Cook's able to get back to the original line of scrimmage, and Cook is looking for a penalty after he was ragdolled out of bounds. Then we have a late flag there, so a whole bunch of flags coming out in the last couple plays.
So I think that we're going to get a hold on one of the receivers, either Donnell Hall or Nolan Smith. I think the officials can take their choice there. What happens beyond that, I'm not sure in terms of these calls. It was a little interesting if we remember back to the Pale Mac game last week. HFL scored on its first 4 drives, but it had a holding penalty on each of those 4 drives. We asked Coach Russ about it. Was the game being officiated differently? Were they, good calls? And he said for the most part they were good calls, but sometimes, the hold isn't always on the inside of the line. It can happen downfield, and there's sometimes where it's just a split second where a receiver is good with his block, and then all of a sudden it's a hold. If runner cuts or something, and that might have been what happened there. So back-to-back penalties on the Cougars. And I think Coach Russ is out there getting an explanation, right?
Yeah, and I don't know if they offset or because one is a potential personal foul or dead ball penalty, how that gets factored in. So we got a hold against the Cougars. We got unsportsmanlike against Geneva, as we expected. Now, how does that affect the placement of the ball? It looks like they have it now placed at the 23-yard line.
So it's going to benefit the Cougars, who started on that play 1st and 20 at the 29. Now they're going to be 1st and 13 from the 22.
So first and 13 for HFL.
And it's always a good time for Cotton Eye Joe, right? Pat Fahey with one of our classics right there.
So here's the handoff to Cook. Cook out towards the first down marker. Going to be real close, I think.
Yep.
Maybe a knee was down. I thought he was a little bit closer.
He lowers his shoulders here, and there's a Geneva player that's hurt. And we just hope that took the brunt of that tackle. We hope that's number 3. We hope that he's going to be okay.
And that'll be the last play of the third quarter, so we'll take a quick commercial timeout.
Honeoye Falls Marketplace. Fresh breads, donuts, special cakes made every day from scratch. Our butcher still cuts your meats to order. Doesn't get any better than that. Hot pizza, fish fries on Friday. Order your favorite sub right here. Organic foods and healthy choices. Honeoye Falls Marketplace. We're true blue, local, uncompromised, quality close to home.
Today's game also brought to you by Alexander Enterprises. For nearly 30 years, Alexander Enterprises has been one of Rochester's most trusted contractors. They specialize in home remodeling, renovations, additions, kitchens, bathrooms, garages, new builds, decks, and painting. Give Todd and the folks at Alexander Enterprises a call before you start your next project at 624-9120. Also, Bullfinch Fund. Fans who are sitting on IRA money that they don't know what to do with, or those who want to take control of their 401k money left at an old employer, should give Bullfinch a call at 624-3150. Bullfinch Fund. Invest right here. Did you know a working teenager can become a retirement millionaire just by starting a child IRA? Want to learn more? Call your local mutual fund, the Bullfinch Fund, at 624-3150. Bullfinch Fund. Invest right here. And the Meehan Architecture Sports Update, girls swimming defeated Our Lady of Mercy last night 85-79. And for cross country, here's a recap from Tuesday's race. The girls escaped Black Creek Park with wins over Churchville Chile and Gates Chile, and the boys had a win over Gates but fell to Churchville Chile. Catch them at Mendon Park next week. So after the end of the third quarter, we have a pass play here to start the fourth. It's Donahoe who gets tackled at the 10. He's going to be very close to the first down marker.
Nice touch pass there by Matt Meacham. We saw that in the first half and resulted in an HFL touchdown. Gets down to third and 2, just about the 15-yard line. No, the 10. Might be Ben Cook time here, you think, Peter?
So it's fourth down. No, it's not. It's third down. The scoreboard's wrong here at the stadium. The marker on the side says 3rd and 2, so 3rd and 2 for the Cougars. We have pre-snap motion. It was Ben Cook, I believe, jumping offside for the Cougars.
Lined
so the false
up
start.
at a tight end position. You think he was going out for a pass there? He looked a little bit excited, right?
He was a little anxious, yeah. So remains third down, but now it's going to be 3rd and 7 for the HFL offense.
A little more work to do.
So clock starts under 11. Here's the snap. Meacham from the gun. Fires towards the corner of the end zone. That's going to be caught. Andrew Wazenreed back in the Meehan Architecture end zone.
5th touchdown pass of the day for Matt Meacham. Another nice touch pass. 2nd of the day for Wazenreed. He's got the inside technique from the cornerback. Matt lofts it up there. Wazenreed's able to adjust to the ball, keep both hands up, and haul it in. Another touchdown.
And Avery Reynoldson back in to attempt the point after. And here's the kick. Line drive is going to be good. So Cougars now 49, Geneva 18. Here's one last look at that fade ball for Andrew Wazenreed.
Yeah, and Andrew came into the game, Peter, with 15 catches for 311 yards and 5 touchdowns. 2 more today. He's got 7 touchdown catches in 4 games. And you look at the afternoon that Matt Meacham's having a 5-touchdown game. Came in 33 for 51, 621 yards, 14 touchdown passes in almost 4 games. That's 3.5 TDs a game. That's pretty productive.
So this upcoming kickoff brought to you by Alexander Enterprises. Alexander Enterprises specialize in home remodeling, renovations, additions, kitchens, bathrooms, garages, new builds, decks, and painting. Give them a call before you start your next project at 624-9120. And this Cougar passing attack seems to just be clicking on all cylinders.
It does, and but it's complementary football too, because the running attack has been great today too, with Patrick Donahoe with 3 touchdowns. Ben Cook can get the tough yards inside. You run the jet sweep to Donnell Hall. So much to defend. I mean, it's got to be fun to sit in that coach's room and put the game plan in, I would think. What do we want to do on this play? Who do we want to see what we can get going here?
And here's just a bloop kick. Blown dead.
Looked like there was a little bit of misfire on the timing there. I wonder if was HFL offsides or
no? I don't think
the
official in the back
had marked it ready for play.
Had not blown his whistle, because I saw a pair of HFL coaches pointing to the referee that he should be looking for to give him the go-ahead. So we get things lined up again, and here's Trent Wagger kicking end over end. That's going to be fielded by number 3 for Geneva. That's Timothy Moore.
Gets it out over the 35. And Peter, before we go too far here, we mentioned Avery Reynoldson in the season opener made history for HFL, becoming the first girl to score a point in a football game. Geneva had a little bit of that history last week too. They have a senior named Natalie Budgar who kicked an extra point in the win over Newark Marion. So, with that, Julia Petrie at Batavia is a good kicker. I know that Leroy had a young lady who kicked 5 extra points in their win over Bath. So a lot of history on the field this fall, and it's fun to see the football growing like that, and the opportunities that these athletes are having. And we know with Avery, she's a 2-sport athlete. She's really solid on the soccer team, and then she comes out when she can for football and is contributing to this team.
So I believe we have injury timeout. It looked like potentially player on the field for Geneva, and number 34, Daniel Carter, who I believe suffered a minor injury during last week's game. He might have missed a couple plays. He's the type of guy, though, where he's tough kid. We talked with head coach Larry Gary for Geneva, and he was saying that Daniel Carter was ready to go back in almost immediately, and he said, "Wait a minute, catch your breath here." And
right, they thought it was a groin injury or some kind of a leg injury, and that typically sidelines a player. And Daniel Carter kept telling the coaching staff, "No, I'm good," and he had a 55-yard punt return for a touchdown, and they gave him a 73-yard interception return. Coach Guerrero's like, "Yeah, I guess he was good." So hopefully it's nothing major here. He's a good player, a fun player to watch, and a real key for this Geneva team.
So here's a run play, and that's number 34, who we were just talking about, Daniel Carter, with the first down carry.
So maybe it was an equipment thing. I thought you need to come out if they stop the game for an injury, right?
He was sitting on the turf, and we had a flag thrown immediately as if it was in the vicinity of,
illegal participation.
Yeah,
or
illegal
something.
procedure or something, and that's what's being called. Because it was called immediately on the snap.
Yep. But
So that's usually an indicator that it's an illegal procedure called. Somebody's covering up somebody's not lined up on the line. So that'll bring up 1st and 15 as we have a run here by Carter, and he's going to be tackled immediately in the backfield. I see number 8 for HFL. That's
Alex Steinhoff, part of that linebacker crew.
Yeah, outside linebacker coming up and making a play in the backfield.
He just shot the gap right there, got Carter around the waist, and was able to stop him for minimal gain, or for a loss, actually.
So it looks like they're going to say forward progress got him back to the line of scrimmage, as it is 2nd and 15 for Geneva. Under 10 minutes in the 4th quarter.
Coming heavy to this side, aren't they?
And this is a run play by Carter. Carter falls ahead to the 35-yard line. Geneva will face 3rd and 10.
And I think right here, Peter, what we're seeing is Geneva is doing what it needs to do to get ready for the rest of the season. They came into this game 3-0 record, same as the Cougars. HFL has really shown what a lot of its ability today. Geneva's down by 31 points, but they've got, as we said, 4 more games to play after this, and you have to prepare for the rest of the season.
Here's a pass play, complete to Torres. He's going to gain a yard or 2. Brings up 4th and 8 for the Panthers.
Good job by the Cougar defense, kind of surrounding the ball there. Nice tackle made by number 22. Paul Iabachi. And it looks like punt formation here for Geneva. I think what we've seen here, Peter, what differentiates maybe the Cougars from the Panthers is the balanced offense, the ability to do multiple things.
And the low snap able to be fielded by Wiles, get the punt off. That's going to roll inside the HFL 40 and ultimately stop at the 38-yard line. So decent starting field position for HFL. Let's see if they, looks like they're still got all the starters in. Wasn't sure if we would maybe start to see some different HFL players getting involved here on this offensive possession.
Yeah, we got Matt Meacham still coming back at quarterback, and maybe one more series. You want to maybe take some time off the clock and just make sure that this one's put away.
Nolan Smith at the near side. He's been on and off the field for the offense. I don't think we've seen him at all on defense.
And just good to see him back. We weren't sure how much time he would miss, and he was a little bit ahead of his recovery timetable.
And here's a pass just short, looking for Donnell Hall.
That may have been deflected at the line of scrimmage by the Geneva line. Let's see if we can tell who gets a hand up on it. Maybe it was 33? Wiles, I believe, maybe.
Colin Wiles, the senior defensive end for this Geneva Panther team. Cougars facing 2nd and 10 after the incompletion. We have Ben Cook in the backfield for HFL. And screenplay to Cook, and he's immediately dropped by Carter. Well, took a little bit, not immediately. He was immediately wrapped up, but it took a host of Panther players to ultimately get Cook on the ground.
Yeah, Ben Cook doesn't usually get immediately tackled, and just a great play by Carter to read that and get there and hang on until help arrived. But those are two of the tougher guys in Class B, I think, in terms of just physical strength and in the way they play the game.
Yeah, number 78, Zaire Matthews, the senior defensive lineman, 5'9", 274, just kind of came in and cleaned things up there for Geneva.
I'm surprised maybe that HFL has gone to the air these first 2 snaps here. I thought they might try to run it out.
So here is a pitch play to the near side. This is Cook, and Cook is going to be tackled at the 45-yard line. So it will bring up a 4th down for this Cougar offense. They're going to need 3 yards to convert.
And they might do something today we haven't seen them do yet, Peter. Punt. Kind of like the Bills. They don't punt much.
So Trent Wagger checks in at the punting position for the first time. HFL short a player. Donahoe quickly jogs out, so they have 11. And here's the punt, the snap. And the punt is up and away, end over end, going to bounce at the 25, inside the 20. Going to take a nice Cougar roll inside the 10. HFL just letting this one go all the way to the 9-yard line.
Great job there. He did get the benefit of a friendly bounce, but HFL was able to take a couple minutes off the clock, flip the field position, and with just over 6 minutes to go here in the fourth quarter, Cougars are in very, very solid position.
So do you think Geneva just keeps rolling with the different players in the backfield, see if anyone can
break one? Yeah, I think so. Again, it's week 4, 8-week regular season. They don't have a huge roster. They rely on the same core of players, both sides of the ball. Biggest thing now is to come out of this game, healthy. You remember, the lessons that you learn here. You forget the outcome, but you take the lessons forward as you try to improve.
As here's a run play by Xavier Praler. He's bottled up for a minimal gain, call it 1 or 2, bring up 2nd and 8 for the Panther offense.
And I think we're seeing some new numbers in there on the HFL defense where we can. Gary was there on the tackle, but we also had number 71 there for HFL. That's Nathan Adair. Nathan is a junior lineman, 5'8", 210.
And Praler right back with it, and he's going to be tackled for a loss in the backfield. Here's another look. Didn't catch the number. Defensive lineman for the Cougars making the stop. As we have some more substitutions for both teams as we approach the 5-minute mark of the fourth quarter. Cougars leading 49-18. Homecoming weekend here at HFL. Geneva with the ball, facing a 3rd and 9. Here's check that, number 7. This is Praler loading up deep, looking for Torres.
And a nice break up there. Paul Iabuchi. Ikabuchi.
Yeah, Torres, 6 foot, 177. Basketball player, that's his main sport.
Yeah, Coach Guerreri said that he wasn't even sure he was going to play football, and Torres has the hope to play college basketball. Last thing he wants is him to get hurt, but he kept calling him, saying, Coach, once practice. He wants to be there for his teammates, and he's a good player. This Geneva roster is going to create some problems for some of these other teams in Class B.
So this timeout brought to you by Bullfinch Fund. Fans who are sitting on IRA money that they don't know what to do with, or those who want to take control of their 401k money left in an old employer, should give Bullfinch a call at 624-3150. Bullfinch Fund. Invest right. Invest right here. Did you know a working teenager can become a retirement millionaire just by starting a child IRA? Want to learn more? Call your local mutual fund, the Bullfinch Fund, at 624-3150. Bullfinch Fund. Invest right. Invest right here. So I think the HFL staff was trying to do a wholesale change to get their number 1 punting unit out there, and there was just some confusion, so they elected to take the timeout so they can make sure they have the personnel they want. And it looks like they're going to have number 2, Landon Hammond, and number 22, Paul Iabuchi, back deep.
And HFL has gotten some pressure on the punter here. I don't think they're going to come with a full-out rush. I think it's just basically don't let Geneva take a broken play, a bad snap, and turn it into a first down.
So some pre-snap motion here on the punt. This is Wiles inside his own end zone as we have a direct snap to number 7. That's Praler. Praler going to be well short of the first down marker. We do have a pre-snap penalty. Looks like potentially a false start. HFL will likely just decline that, as their offense is now on the field, and looks like we do have a couple different players checking in for HFL. We do have a quarterback change as well.
I think that's one we're waiting on. Nate Meacham.
Nate Meacham, that's the younger brother of Matt.
And Nate is a freshman, 6'2", 150. So he's got some good size and some good bloodlines too.
So I believe this is the first time we've seen a quarterback other than Matt Meacham play for this HFL offense, as we have a handoff to number 21 for the Cougars. That's Harrison Houle.
Harrison is a sophomore, 5'9", 180, listed as a running back linebacker. We got the second team offensive line in there, still getting a little bit of push. He's able to get the ball inside the 10-yard line.
Ran into his own man there, number 14, Keaton Yates. 2nd and 4 for HFL, inside the 10-yard line now. Nate Meacham in the gun with Connor Finn to his right. Here's the snap, low snap. Meacham able to reel it in and just kind of fall on it.
That's the right thing to do right there. To make sure that you secure the ball and don't turn it over. Play safely. No need to take a risk at this point in the game.
So the clock continues to roll. Brings up 3rd and call it 9 here for the Cougars. Wonder if we'll see a pass here for Nate Meacham. Doubles formation. Here's the snap. Meacham looks to throw. Fires to his right, and it's going to be incomplete. Looking for number 10. That's Mike Meisensaw. And it looks like we may have the field goal unit coming out. Yes, we do. I see Trent Wagger and Matt Meacham, the holder.
This will be a good test for Trent. It'll be about a 27, 28-yard field goal. That's maybe a kick that he'll need to make later in the season. So this would be a good gauge, and hopefully if he's able to knock it through, it'll help his confidence and know that this is something that he can do if the team needs him to do it later on.
Joint the snap, Meacham the hold. The kick is up, and it's good. So the Cougars with 3 points there after the turnover on downs by Geneva. Cougars 52, Panthers 18. Just about 3 minutes left. Here's another look. Low kick, but it got there.
Yep, got it home. It's a 30-yard kick. There was only 20. He needed 28, so he'll take it. Trent also a dual sport participator. He's on the boys soccer team, and he's done a good job for the Cougars with the kicking chores. And Coach Russ has talked about, how it's important to have a kicker. And there was one year, Peter, he said, where he almost had to walk through the halls to try and find a kicker. And they were able to find one, but it's nice when you have somebody with that soccer experience and the strong leg and good technique. You remember that time?
Nope, that was after me.
It was during your college career.
Yeah. We always had a kicker. We always had some soccer player that wasn't looking to just run all day. So here we have a kickoff brought to you by Alexander Enterprises. Alexander Enterprises specialize in home remodeling, renovations, additions, kitchens, bathrooms, garages, new builds, decks, and painting. Give them a call before you start your next project at 624-9120. And here's the kickoff by Wagger. End over end. Deep ball. It's going to be fielded at the 1-yard line. This is number 3. Timothy Moore for the Panthers. In fact, when I was a player here, the longest field goal was completed. I believe it was in the 40-yard range.
Oh wow! You remember who did it?
Billy Pluta. Although I'd be remiss if I didn't mention that I believe there was some wind that might have played a factor.
I thought maybe you were the long snapper on the line, and you get credit for the operation being smooth.
Nope, that would have been, believe Evan Quackenbush would have been the snapper who I did see earlier today. So we mentioned homecoming weekend, some alumni here cheering on HFL football as Geneva sets up shop inside their own 15-yard line, 1st and 10.
And certainly a lot to cheer for today. We've had it all.
Here's the snap, going to be a pass. Torres makes the first man miss, rolls out to his right. He's going to just run it out of bounds at the 20-yard line. So nice pickup of about 8 there.
Yeah, Torres does a good job eluding the pressure in the pocket. Good pressure there by number 17 for the Cougars. Holden Cam. Torres able to contain, get outside where he's kind of ridden out of bounds by Aaron Fasek. So we're getting to call some new names here, which is always fun too. Getting a lot of players on the field for both teams.
Torres trying to get his players in position. Here's a swing play to the near side. This is number 5 for Geneva.
Connor Guerreri. He's had a couple of plays where he's shown what he can do in open space. Nice swing pass there. Was able to get outside the numbers and get an angle on the tackler, get around the first tackler, and he's angled out of bounds about the 40-yard line.
So that'll be more than enough for the Panthers to get a new set of downs. Torres again to throw. Throwing up top. He's had 2 men right about at midfield, but it was...
Yakabuchi made a good break on the ball there, Peter. That's the second or third time we called his name. Torres didn't have a ton on the throw. It hung up a little bit. Yakabuchi made the read, stepped in front of the receiver, and swatted it to the turf.
And if Torres can have that ball a little bit more on a line, less loft, that's a completion for at least 12.
Yep. So it looks like they're checking their wristbands, make sure they're all on the same page in terms of the offensive play call here.
Torres.
Swatted down by Holden Cam. Good pressure. And got the hands up and then was able to break that pass up. It was almost like a block shot in basketball.
So 3rd and 10. Geneva with the ball.
Holden Cam getting some time at the defensive end position. He's kind of long and rangy. He's listed as 6'2", 175, and he is a sophomore.
And a swing pass to Gary.
Alex Steinhoff had none of that, Peter. He stayed patient, was able to wrap him up, and that actually looked like it was a lateral because it went backwards. It would have been a live ball if it wasn't caught. The ball was caught at the 28. The pass was thrown at the 30. Steinhoff was there about the 31 to say that's all you're going to do right here.
And again, Holden Cam almost got fingertips on that as Colin Wiles checks back in, the punter for the Panthers. Feet at the
20-ish?
19-yard line, we'll call it, for Geneva. And the punt, nice kick there, going to take a bounce and then fielded by Yakabuchi, who makes it up past midfield, up towards the 40, still on his feet, then tackled by a gang of Geneva players as we are now under 2 minutes to play here in the 4th quarter. We mentioned it during halftime, a look at the upcoming schedule for these two teams. HFL will face Newark Marion next week, next week, and then the Geneva Panthers will host Wayne next week.
I think that'll be an interesting matchup. We saw Wayne a couple weeks ago. They had just lost Dylan Vance for the season, one of their top players. Didn't have their best game when they came here. They've won 2 straight. Had a tight game with Pale Mac. Geneva actually has Pale-Mac later on in the schedule, so there's really not a common score to check there, but I would think that those two teams would match up pretty well.
And the next HFL game we'll have is on October 14th versus Batavia, as Matt Meacham
Takes a knee, victory formation.
checks back in. Yep, victory formation here in James Dollard Athletic Stadium. Cougars leading 52-18. They'll only have to kneel the ball a couple more times.
And I think what we take away from this is that the Cougars, when they needed to respond today, they did. Geneva tested them a little bit, had some big plays in the second quarter, but you know, that 4-minute drive to end the half and get that touchdown to put HFL up 36-12 at the half was a big play, and second half was just kind of slugging it out a little bit. So if I'm the Cougars and Coach Russ, I like what I saw today.
Another kneel down there by Meacham. Gets us down to about 50 seconds. And it looks like they're not going to have to run another play. That'll be the final here at HFL, 52-18. There's our final score graphic, 52-18. Cougars move to 4-0. Geneva falls to 3-1. Both teams line up at midfield to shake hands. We'll have the highlights here loaded up. Run through them quickly. Oh, there's a look at the kneel down. See if we can get the scoring plays. As Luke Mendrick, our replay operator, cues that up, we'll take this opportunity to thank the rest of our crew. Kyle Chaparino operating the camera, and Patrick Borelli running our graphics today. So to start us off today, the scoring, it was Nolan Smith. Pass reception from Matt Meacham. Nice one-handed grab.
Yeah, I think we might see that one again during the weekly highlight packages. Then we come back, Matt Meacham over the top. The second of his 5 touchdown passes finds Donnell Hall out of the backfield. Cougars went ahead 14-0.
And then very similar play, this time to Andrew Wazenreed,
And then
extending the Cougar lead.
And then there's Patrick Donahoe, his first of 3 touchdowns today, a 5-yard run with the kick by Trent Wager, made it 29-6. And then the screen pass, Meacham to Donahoe, the cutback, his second touchdown. That closed out the scoring in the first half, where the Cougars led 36-12 at the break.
And then it was Patrick Donahoe running northward into the end zone.
31 yards there, 3:30 left in the third quarter. That really settled the game down. And then Meacham to Wazenreed again. We saw that Matt has just put great touch on the ball all day. Did it there for his 5th touchdown pass of the day, 14th of the season. And Trent Wager, 28-yard field goal to close it out. The 52 points for the Cougars today. They win it 52-18.
So the Cougars put an explanation point on homecoming weekend with a 52-18 victory over the visiting Geneva Panthers. Steve, any closing thoughts before we sign off?
I think that HFL got what it wanted today. They got the win, which you always want. Matt Meacham had a breakout career game, 5 touchdown passes. Patrick Donahoe, great on the ground. Nolan Smith came back. So all of that was good. Geneva provided a little bit of a test late in the second half, or late in the second quarter, and even came out in the third quarter, scored a touchdown where you wanted to see how the Cougars would respond, and they responded exactly how the faithful would want, and they were able to close out the game and put up a big win to go to 4-0.
That'll do it for us here at HFL. You've tuned into the Mendon-Honeoye Falls-Lima Sentinel. Until next time, I'm Peter Carosa, joined alongside Steve Bradley. Have a good rest of your weekend, folks.